In this episode of Shipwrecked, we are joined by a couple of our favorite artists based out of LA, ThankYouX and Ed Balloon. ThankYouX is an artist known for pushing the limits of painting and digital art. Ed Balloon is an artist and musician known for his electric live performances and absolutely incredible vibes. We dive into the story behind their respective pseudonyms, their thoughts on AI and how it changes creating in the modern day, making Web3 more equitable, and so much more. As always, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Redbeard, D's, and guests may own NFTs discussed. We are here today with the second episode of Shipwrecked out of LA.
That's right.
2023. We're here with two legends. Ed Balloon, ThankYouX.
Real legends.
Real legends.
What's legendary also is this weather. I came to LA and it was supposed to be sunny.
It's been the same weather that you had in New York.
No, it's worse. It's because it's raining.
We're getting blessed right now.
I know, now it's sunny.
The cameras
but it's
are
because
on.
the sun is right on. It's right on Ryan.
It's because we're all together.
Yeah, right on ThankYouX. Like
it's really right on ThankYouX and D's right now.
Right. You guys have like halos going on over there. But yeah,
we've got the good weather with us.
Yeah, but we are with legends. I think that there's two people in this space that really represent a lot of what from the beginning of really, working really truly and grinding and understanding art and music from a, perspective that's outside of the Web3 world. And I definitely think ThankYouX and Ed really represent that a lot.
We're tapping into overnight successes. We were talking, before the conversation before the pod that we always talk about. We were talking about how, a lot of people just see people's successes and they think they got lucky and they don't see the years of work that went into it before.
And I think you're looking at two individuals who've worked hard for a very long time. ThankYouX, you've been an artist forever, right? I'm not trying to give your age away or anything, but you worked, your work has been hard.
It's been 84 years.
84 years. You lost the necklace. Yeah. No, but really, I know this is I'm sure this has been for you to be the success that you are right now, which is obvious. It's taken you a long time, and I'm sure it didn't just start in Web3 with NFTs.
No, for me, I never started art to be successful. I just was making art, when I started as ThankYouX, I was just doing street art stuff because I loved it. And I loved the feeling of going out in the middle of the night and kind of the anarchy of it.
Let's start with that.
What?
Okay, because we're gonna get to Ed Balloon because we just don't know what balloon means. But can you tell us how we got ThankYouX? Where did that come from? What's the origin story?
Okay, so
and if you want to make it up and make it really exciting, we're okay with that also. You could just
honestly, the real story is kind of nice.
Okay,
so I'll just tell that one.
Let's do it.
So I was on Air Force One with Obama. And I'm just kidding.
Yo, you got me, man. I was believing it for a second. All right, this is gonna get interesting.
I love the story already
because nobody knows this one. This is breaking news.
All right, you know what? I've never told that. No, the real story is I was just going out and putting a bunch of wheat paste posters and stencils around LA with this giant image of Andy Warhol that I made, and I was very inspired by him and his color scheme and his business ethics and just his repetition and his use of kind of celebrity and all these things to gain his own success. And so I just would do this big image of him, and then underneath it I wrote "Thank you." And then I had this corporate job, so I signed with an X because I didn't want my name attached or anything. So I just signed with an X, and then all these different street art blogs and stuff started referring to me as ThankYouX. Some people would call me Thank You Andy. And then some people would call me ThankYouX, and I was like,
where did they get Andy from?
Andy Warhol.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, okay, well,
that wouldn't have been such a bad name either.
Thank you, Andy. If everyone just called me Andy.
Let's call him Andy for now.
I don't know. But no, so that's how it got started. And then so cool. I just I worked for Universal Music Group at the time as an art director for their merchandising company. And I kind of learned a little bit about branding and all that stuff from working there. Nice. So I was like, oh, ThankYouX. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I've never heard that phrase before, except for someone's saying thank you and then a kiss if you're British,
Yeah.
And so I was I looked it up. The website was open. I was like, all right, well, I guess this is a pretty good time to have someone else give me a name,
right? That's awesome. I love that origin.
It's hard to come up with your own nicknames.
No, it is. My nickname is Benny Big.
You're lying. No, it's not.
No, I swear. That was my
Where did you get the big from?
Is this?
He was lying.
Hold on. Is this not safe for pod?
No, but we're gonna get to not safe spot for pods things soon.
Okay, perfect. Is this an all things go?
Oh
pod?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all up.
Yeah,
All
like
right,
we're
cool.
about to talk about how this is a porn
about
house.
to be
We're gonna get
canceled.
to that in a minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
But-
4 times.
Big is actually my initials,
Oh,
and gross in German means big. So my friends call me Benny Big.
okay.
I also have a big penis.
Oh my god.
He went there.
So you wanted to know.
It's,
so.
for the folks at home,
Yeah.
it's 10 a.m. right now.
10 a.m. No, I think that's great. I also love what you said. I just want to pick on what you were saying about Andy Warhol. I think that was like a really fascinating thing, just because we were talking about how you don't have like an overnight success could take years, and Andy Warhol was like a real believer in that, right? Like, you know, he opened the factory. We talk about this a lot in '63, and it took him years to kind of build up. But you said you're not an art. You made the art because you didn't want to sell it, right? And Warhol was very artistic. He's an artist, but he was very much a business person also. He understood how that all works. Do you take a lot of that still with you and when you make your art today? And
Yeah, I think the creation process is still the creation process, but like my respect for his business side was like, what do you do with that now?
right.
And so it's not like, you know, I'm not, when I'm making a piece, being like, okay, like this is how this is going to go, unless it's something like state of the art where it's like, it kind of has to be thought out from the start.
Right.
But the actual, like when I'm painting like a paint stroke, it's not like, okay, cool, like this is going to happen like this. I like that to be pure and then figure out what I do with it afterwards. So like I have the book Andy Warhol Enterprises, for
Yeah.
instance. And my wife bought me that because I always talk about how I respect his business side as well, because he ran it like, you know, a business.
Yep.
And I think it's important, especially in Web3, that artists also understand some sort of business side. And, you know, we
Yeah.
can have like an agent or a manager or friends or an accountant or whatever those people are that can kind of like advise us. But I think it's also important for us to know this stuff, because in the Web 2 side, we all got screwed over from that. And so,
Like creating your own LLCs, I know, is like
Exactly.
a big thing. Like I tell artists all the time, like
Yeah.
just do it because it helps you with your IP, it helps you with your provenance and all that, you know. But
So much.
it's just
Also
a lot.
expensing and taxes.
Yeah, for sure. But talking about, so now that Ed's here. Oh, look at these socks. Look at that.
The Jets.
Shout out to
this
those are
this podcast
yesterday.
today, this episode is brought to you by Jen Stark.
Look at that.
This
And
is
Snowfro.
and Snowfro. So like we have the Jen Stark couch right here.
Yeah.
We got Benny's hat, Ed's socks, and then we got the Snowfro squiggle hats
Squiggle
going on right
hats.
here.
All right, Ed. Your last
can't
name
help
is
you.
not really Balloon. You don't have to tell us your last name because I know that you want to stay anonymous.
I
But
do.
where did you get Balloon? And what color balloon is it?
It changes color now.
Today it's green.
Today it's green.
Changes color now, but when the balloon popped in, I was watching that movie, The Red Balloon.
Oh, I love that movie. Is
Yeah.
that really where you got it from?
So kind of.
Oh,
I've always had like this thing. No, seriously,
I'm excited for nothing, dude.
I've always had this thing
Okay.
about with balloons. Like
Got
I
it.
just always like loved
Like
looking-
a fetish, like when women sit on
All
them and
right.
pop them.
All right, bro.
Sort of.
Have you ever seen-
asking.
Have you ever seen It?
Yeah, like,
That's where
or,
the name
or like
came
an
from.
it fetish, right?
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
point.
He's
No.
into clowns.
So
like-
what kind of balloon?
it would be. Let me explain this.
Okay,
to you.
sorry.
So it would be like a kid's birthday party, and there will be balloons, and sure, the cake is really good, and they're blowing off the candles on the cake. But I would really love the balloons. So I would take the balloons with me all the time.
So you'd steal them from
I
kids'
would steal-
birthday
You would
parties.
steal from kids'
Okay.
birthday parties
Cool.
balloons.
Yeah, I just would want.
Do
So
you
you're-
still do you still do that? Do you go to the
No.
kids' birthday parties? Grab balloons? I'm Ed
Sometimes I'm like, oh, balloon.
I'm Ed
And
Balloon. No,
I'm like,
no.
oh, balloon, and no one else cares, and so I'm like, okay, So I don't really, but I'm like always like, look,
So it's so as a kid you loved balloons.
yeah, I've always loved balloons.
Do you like what about the balloon do you like? That it floats, the helium, the string? I mean,
I don't know. I just think it's really the design of it. It's really cool. I think
The aesthetic.
Yeah,
That's
it's
kinda-
just beautiful.
and what
to me.
color is your favorite balloon?
I don't really have a color now, but so getting to the
Red balloon.
When I saw the Red Balloon movie, I was like, wow, this is such a dope movie.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, and
It actually reminds me a lot of, like, in some ways, Joe Pease's sort of weird movements and, like,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and there was a part where, like, I guess he had these kids bullying him.
Yeah.
And he's on the balloon and he floats away.
Yeah.
And that was why I was like, I just symbolized, I was like, seeing the symbolism in that. And I was like, wow.
Did you want to float away as a child?
Well, not float away as a child really, but like here I am, like I'm at like my 20s now. Before like when his name came to be.
Wait, you're in your 20s now?
No, I'm not in my 20s.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't mean
but when
bring up age.
we're talking, I'm going back and telling you about
Got it.
how
In their 20s, you wanted to float away.
Benny doesn't want to let you tell your
he
story.
doesn't.
No,
It's
go.
okay. He
sorry.
wants to be in the story.
No, it's true. I want to float away with you.
When does Benny get in the story?
When did you meet me and in this
Tell
story?
the story about when we met.
Yeah. No, sorry. Go on. Go on.
Yeah,
back to
and I just like so I'm like 20 something, and it's just very difficult because I'm like trying to like this is the beginnings of me trying to be this musician, and also just having a whole bunch of doubters saying why would you do that, like go to law school and all these things, and I saw them as like the bullies in the movie, like those were the barriers, and I just remember a kid floating, and I know it's cheesy, but I was like,
No, I
man,
love
it'd be really
that.
dope. It's like the balloon really symbolizes like floating over your barriers or these bullies and stuff like
You
that.
should
And
do
so-
like an Ed balloon, like of your face.
I mean, that was also something I was thinking about doing.
That would be so cool.
But it can't just be on the nose. It has to really be like,
it has to be like very
Yeah.
We have to
I
find a
don't-
good artist to do it.
yeah.
Do you know ThankYouX?
I do know. Thank you.
We need one of those like Jeff Koons sculptures
Yes.
that look like balloons, but
that
they're
looks
not.
like a balloon. That's Ed.
But it's a big Ed balloon. It's like 8 feet.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out I really wanted my head to be a balloon or something like that.
I kind of like
We'll see
that.
about it. We'll see.
I have an idea. Let's talk
You
talk
do.
after.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Talk shop.
Yeah, let's talk shop after. So you started in your music industry. At what point did you decide that you were a musician who is going to always take his clothes off?
Oh my gosh. To be quite honest, it was.
Birthday party.
To be quite
I would rub
honest,
the balloon.
Kid's birthday.
I'd
quite
rub the
honest,
balloon.
No, it was legit right before the pandemic, y'all. So
Wait, what? Right before the pandemic?
yeah, so I had like one more. I had one more show before the pandemic, like before lockdown, because we were supposed to go on a tour, and before we like even did that performance, I remember like my bandmates saying, "Man, it's gonna be really terrible to have Ed like with a sweaty ass shirt like on in the in the tour van. Like we can't. Like it's gonna be disgusting.
Like you were gonna smell.
yeah, and all that." And I was like, "That's so true."
So you just took your shirt off.
And I was like, oh yeah, what's also terrible is like having a sweaty shirt, and with
Okay, so
all your other
I
clothes.
understand taking off your shirt, but when did you decide to take your pants off?
I don't take my pants off.
You do. You come out like black like underwear,
These are
which is
short-
totally fine. I'm not judging you, by the way. I get it's part of the whole ambiance of the music, but I just need to understand, when did you decide to take your pants off?
Okay, all right. So I like freedom.
Okay.
I notice that I love freedom when I'm
Would
on
you love
stage.
the freedom that like you don't wear
But I
underwear?
am not naked,
Do you
y'all.
wear,
I
you wear
just-
underwear.
I do wear.
You don't free ball.
So the shorts I wear has like underwear in it. So
Oh, it's like a short
Yeah.
underwear. It's like
yeah.
bicycle
No,
shorts.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the
like a netting,
Lululemon,
like a
yeah,
bathing
like
suit.
the
Yeah, and
athletic.
so my balls can breathe since we're going there. My balls can breathe.
Okay. When
No.
your balls breathe, do you sing better? Is that is that what you're trying to tell me?
Maximum flexibility.
Honestly, I think so because
Yeah.
in the shower I don't have anything.
And you're singing like you're going,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
all
going-
off.
I'm-
do you ever
You're
record
going
in the
all
shower?
out.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
What?
Are there like certain notes that you can only hit when you're in the shower? Do you have like a microphone in there for
Yeah,
certain
I think,
parts?
I definitely think there's because there's a lot of the steam helps the voice too and stuff like that.
Reverb.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good things.
but there is something.
You should
that's-
take a microphone in there. I think that's a good idea, Deez.
yeah.
Record yourself in the
Have people done
video
that?
camera. Yeah,
But like the acoustics might be terrible, so it might.
we'll get Weesh to go in the shower with you.
That's the second part of the pod.
That's yeah. By the way,
I
after
didn't
this
tell them about that part.
Yeah, we didn't tell you about that. We also didn't tell you. Okay, guys, why we're in this house, we're asking everybody who's in this house. Supposedly, this is Elvis's house. Okay, so
I'm
we
leaving.
were
I'm kidding.
told. Okay, but I have a
it is Elvis's
theory.
house.
I
That's
think that
supposed-
this really is a porn house. I'm gonna give you my reason why. Okay, do you see this TV up here? Why is there a TV up there?
I have a theory.
Okay,
I think that. Okay, that
Yeah, this is
that
good.
TV
Now I'm excited.
shows all the security cameras, and so when the people are in here, they can look up at it and see all the different camera angles.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one.
in LA, everyone has things like that.
Oh yeah.
Not everyone, but like in the hills.
Okay, my thought was if you were having sex on the couch over there and it was a porn house, that would be the monitor so you could see your angles. But I think
the problem with that, though, with that theory, is you're based it off. That's just a singular missionary position. It's only good for one angle.
So I think, right, except the light from the sun, I think hits well there. So I think the lighting, that was like the perfect sex
That
spot.
probably makes sense.
In porn houses, they usually bring their own lighting.
They do bring their own lighting.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we actually might have solved that. It probably is because of security.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense now.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the best place.
Is security here?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, Ed?
Well, I want to say something about this being Elvis's house.
Yes, tell me.
Okay, so
That's we were told. We don't know.
no.
If
So when I first came here the other night, I was told allegedly this was Elvis's house, and I started looking around, and they're really playing up the Elvis thing.
a little bit, right?
And so like it's a little too much to where it becomes like, okay, did maybe Elvis like came here one time?
Like he stopped off to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerked off
Right.
in the shower.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say that maybe there's an event here and he came to it. The event might have been the shower. I don't know.
And then he slept over.
Yeah, and then like
then,
so like in LA, there's a thing where people will say, "Oh, this is Charlie Chaplin's old house."
Oh, so those things aren't true.
I mean,
How
like
do you play that off though?
Like
It's not
I almost
true.
rented Harry Houdini's
the
house.
blockchain fixes this.
Right, that's right.
To bring it back, the blockchain fixes this.
That's right.
So there's
right.
no way to actually track
Nope.
it because it's like if it was Charlie Chaplin's house, it's probably under his like manager's name or something, someone else's name. Without having the deed, it's like you don't really know. So anyone could say anything, and like there's literally a picture of Elvis dancing on a table over there. Like Elvis's house wouldn't really have that.
You're saying they added some of that stuff in. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's an embellishment, and this is what Hollywood does. It's the Hollywood version.
So we were almost rented the Harry Houdini house. You think that wasn't true?
That might be maybe he made people disappear, or someone
Right.
made people disappear, and that's
Like he
the
did a
tie-in.
performance.
Were you just
there.
looking
No.
for
I think
people's
people have been
houses?
kidnapped.
What is up with LA? Is there anything real in LA? The grass isn't real. I noticed that. What's okay? Let me ask you a question. Like the sweater,
Don't you ask
like
me
the
this-
sweater over here,
Yeah.
right? What's with the fake grass everywhere?
Hey, this is fake on purpose.
So
Yeah,
Shout out to
I have turf at my house.
yeah. Tell me about that.
Okay, so the reason I have turf is it's drought tolerant, and we have a drought issue in California. So
Not anymore. I mean, you see.
well,
what
okay,
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Today we have it for
You're gonna
20
flood.
years. We're good, yeah. So we're getting grass back. We're
Oh,
getting
so
grass.
you're
back.
all getting grass back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, but there's also a thing where if you own a home and
Yeah.
you have turf,
Yeah.
and you have a drought tolerant lawn,
Yeah.
you get tax deductions.
Get
or
out
tax,
of here. For real?
whatever, tax like refunds or something on that.
Okay.
And yeah, because you're not wasting water. And also like there'll be times where like for a month they'll be like no one can water their lawns. You'll get
Wow.
fined if you water your lawns. So people's lawns
Did
die.
they tell you like you can't shower?
No, they'll be like, but it's like because that's like a necessity. But like a lawn isn't necessarily a necessity.
Is it a necessity? I was
For my
thinking about,
dog, it's
yeah,
not
I was
true.
thinking about this the other
So
day.
turf, though.
That's true. They could pee on the turf. I was thinking about this the other day. I watch sometimes TV shows, and like I watch shows about like things that take place like in the 1800s and whatever. My wife liked all these period pieces stuff, and I kind of was like until recently, I feel like people smelled. Like if we took a time machine and went back in time, we'd be like, yo, everybody smells here.
But it would be normal. We'd be stanking.
No, but we wouldn't stink because we would smell good.
I
Like,
already know they're calling this was smelling.
dude, they smelled like they never took baths. They took
They're wearing that thick ass clothing. That shit.
Yeah,
six
like they
layers
wore the
deep.
same
That
clothing.
sweats
See?
penetrate.
Imagine Ed's tour.
Oh,
his,
my
his,
God.
his band.
That's why.
His band was like, "What if we're in the 1800s right now?" And you had to wear that.
You know?
He's got that full like regal thing buttoned up with.
And
all the
deodorant can only
frivolous-
do so much.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I think people smelled.
but like also like if everyone smells, does
Then
anyone
nobody
smell?
really smell?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, would we be able to go back in time and be okay being back in time when, like, if I'm around
They had
people,
perfumes though. And
Yeah,
stuff
that's
like
what
that.
the
they had
term,
like a lot of perfume.
There's a term called a
And the
bath.
oils, right? I don't really know what. I mean,
bath.
you know what? I don't want to know.
A what?
I'm sure there was deodorant.
A horse bath?
That's what they called it.
a horse bath.
Yeah.
So you would put a lot of perfume
You
on.
just cover yourself in. You don't take an after shower. You just cover yourself in.
That's like my friends were Persian, and I would call it a Persian shower.
Oh.
I mean,
they
we
would just
did
spray
that.
That's technically racist, but
Cologne.
we'll.
Yeah, well,
I was
I'm-
just doing.
I'm
Listen,
Jewish.
my
I'm
wife's
Jewish. Your wife-
wife's
Oh,
Persian.
you're allowed to
Oh.
be racist if you're Jewish.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
I'm allowed to be racist toward Jewish Persians. It wasn't a non-Jewish Persians. I wasn't talking.
Told
about.
you that we're getting canceled on here.
God.
Um,
So
And we can't make it 2 hours.
I told you we're getting canceled.
So just Ed before the pod said, people aren't going to hate me after this, right?
Yeah.
And then sorry, Ed.
We're out here.
While we're here, are you doing a burn for your? No, I would never hit you.
No, but I think maybe there was deodorant too. I
no,
don't
there
know.
was no deodorant.
You don't think so?
No, deodorant was. I looked it up once. It was like invented like 40 years ago or something, dude.
Wow.
Yeah,
So no.
yeah.
Not
That's
40
like
years ago.
veganism.
Imagine
Do
when
you know what
like,
veganism
the
was
Black
invented?
Plague was happening, like
Like
the
the Black
bubonic plague.
Yeah, it was like-
was just fucking ravaging people,
and
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 they
people-
stunk
and
like
they
shit,
smelled.
and they're just like covered in their own shit, fucking rats
100%.
and stuff.
I like that they blamed it on some like biblical thing, and it's like really no, you just had bad hygiene.
Yeah,
So
you had hygiene,
everyone
right?
died.
Everybody
Poor
died because
hygiene.
you
They're
didn't
like, this
take
must
a
be an
bath.
act of God.
Like, just take a bath, you'll be
People
fine.
bathed in like people did bathe. They bathed
In their own
like
shit.
no, but
No.
they took like
No, but you could. I looked it up. Like people would take a bath like once every 3 months.
I was like a luxury.
Yeah, like if you took a
Wow.
bath like once a week, you were considered
The
rich,
privileges
Damn.
we have.
right? Like that's crazy. Like,
They-
like.
No, I don't think.
By the way, I also found out veganism. You know who invented veganism?
Who?
Hitler.
Well, that's why I'm playing bass.
Just letting you know this.
This is not true. This is
This
not
is,
factual.
this is true. I looked it up,
No.
and the internet told me this.
Yeah. Oh, okay. If it's on the
I
internet.
think Benny
Yeah.
was watching those YouTube videos
Yeah.
that just have the weird
rabbit
font
hole.
and text. And
Hitler
Yeah.
was a
went down a rabbit
Hitler,
hole.
I just
and
want you to know Hitler was a proud.
world was
a
flat.
proud-
the Hitler like meme that like it's like he's like I don't know, the subtitles said it.
the
Yeah.
subtitle said it.
yeah.
But Hitler was a proud vegan.
Chat. Oh, true. Chat GPT.
You should just ask ChatGPT. With
So,
that.
I mean, why even be here in person? We should just have 4 computers talking to each
Right?
other.
That's what it's gonna be.
Cut to
think
like,
so?
like the graphics just do that for us real quick.
All right,
and we're back.
Why we're talking about it, because I think it's just a fascinating subject. What do you guys feel like? You're an
Is it
artist.
moving too quickly?
Well, here I'm going to ask you from this perspective. You're an artist. You spend hours
Allegedly.
on your art. I know this. You spend hours on your music. Like, it's crazy, right? Do you think it's kind of scary where you could be at a point where somebody could be really good at prompts and just create? I'm not saying your music, but get close to things in a lot of ways that like almost represent things that they could sell. I'm asking both of you because I know it's a tough question.
For me, I don't look at it as like a threat
Mm-hmm.
for what I do personally. I kind of look at it as, okay, I haven't seen, and I could be wrong, but I haven't seen artwork done by AI that I couldn't tell it was done by AI.
Interesting.
Like there's always this like
It's the prompt.
this feel to it that is like, okay, well that's AI.
Okay.
Right? And which is not a bad thing. Like I love a lot of AI artists. I think for me, the way that I use it, like I don't think that it's gonna, like I know that, you know, robots can make paintings and stuff, right? But it has to
So
be
can
fed
elephants,
something.
by the way.
Yeah, it has to be fed something kind of, you know what I mean? Like there has to be, it has
For
to start-
sure.
So for me, the way that like I look at AI personally is like it, you know, using it as a tool. I hate when I really actually just don't think it's sweet when people like type in, you know, Donald Trump, you know, flying like a pig, and it's like,
Right.
okay, cool. Hey, this is available on Open Edition right now.
Right.
You know, blah blah. Like that's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't do it for me. And I'm not saying they're wrong. It's just for me.
Would you ever consider doing something that's more traditional with AI, like a mix? Because I could see you like kind of doing something cool like that. You know, because you did
Yeah.
the screens inside the paintings, which I thought was always amazing.
So one thing that I've actually been talking about with Transient Labs is like dynamic NFTs, where
Oh.
when you, it's like one of my state of the art pieces.
Okay.
But then if you scroll over it, it's the prompts fed from the painting and like the statistics of like 70% red, 30% blue, 2 green dots, da 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 da,
Wow.
and that's what it's fed into. And then the image that it's based off of is like when you scroll over, it is like revealed behind it.
That's really cool.
So things like that are interesting
yeah.
to me.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to steal that idea before I have it,
No,
that's totally fine.
this podcast will be out like by time.
In 2025.
Yeah.
Time capsule, actually. This is a time capsule episode.
Yeah, this is the time.
It's coming out in 2069.
Yeah.
After the
Right.
apocalypse.
They're like, damn, Elvis showered. Elvis jerked off in the shower.
I agree with you in regards to AI. I think it really should be used as a tool. For me, I do feel like there is this thing about AI, and I don't know. I don't.
It's gonna take your jobs. Like,
Yeah,
I think some AI
which is-
will.
No, that's,
and some
that is-
jobs are.
Correct.
You know,
like you're gonna go to McDonald's and it's gonna be nobody there.
kind of
But
already-
they won't fuck up your order.
Right.
I
Well,
don't know.
To be fair, so I was just in Korea. I was
Yeah.
just in Korea.
Right.
I went
Oh,
to
yeah,
I went to
yeah.
a fast food place.
and there was nobody there.
Okay, so there's no one there to order, right? Like you go to a screen, and the reason I went to this one is because I was starving, and I noticed they had a vegan burger, and so I go and I try to order the vegan burger, but it has a sauce on it I'm like questionable. It might have mayonnaise in it. So the screen didn't let me
Have like
take no sauce on it. So then I had to go to the person up front and be like, hey, can I customize it? Like, go to the screen. And I'm like, I need to get this off of it. So they're like, okay, order it over there, and then I'll manually put in to do that. So it's still this like broken system.
It's not there yet.
It's not there yet, but I do believe that is like the thing.
So
The burger was
talk-
4 out of 10.
so now that we're on that subject, and we were talking about nannies before, if theoretically we had robots that were sex robots,
Wow.
do you think that would be considered cheating on your spouse if you had sex with the robot?
I don't know. You tell us, Benny.
Well, I'm asking you the question first.
Spencer just stood up and started nodding his head. Yes.
I feel like yes.
But it's not a real person. It doesn't have a soul. It's a tool. I have a soul.
I hope that made it. I hope that.
Spencer said you don't have a soul.
I don't
have
know.
a
Like
soul.
I mean,
No, I'm
aren't they
asking a
like,
serious question.
Aren't they like
do you-
dolls? Like aren't
Yeah, or a vibrator. What's the
I
difference?
don't think
how about
a
this?
wife would be
What's
happy
the difference
with that.
between a
they-
vibrator?
Yeah, I don't think a wife would be
and
happy
I,
with a
I
doll.
don't think.
What's the difference between a vibrator and a sex
I
robot?
don't think a wife.
Because one
would
is
be
like
happy.
an uncanny representation of a human, and the other is
I understand, but it's still
a
it's
tool,
still not
more like
real.
a hammer.
It's a tool.
Not always uncanny.
Right. True. I mean, I'm just asking the question. Like, I think we're going to get to that point at one point. So the question is, do the robots need to have rights? Do they have a soul, or are they just like a vibrator?
Wow.
Ed, what do you think about that?
Benny's like, if the robot's not carrying an egg, it's not a person.
Honestly, it depends though, because I feel like there's some partners who kind of get upset with the vibrator being there and saying, "Hey, I'm not doing enough for you." Do you ever feel like you're not doing enough? I mean, actually, this is
Wow, we just got deep there now. No, I
he did this.
He asked
He
for
did
it.
this.
I
was trying to be so good.
my wife is going to be watching this, and the answer is no. I feel like I satisfy my wife a lot.
Okay,
but now
so-
we're on the subject. When's the last time you had sex?
Oh my gosh!
Now, let's go back to something that's more important. I do think AI, now that can we just go back because I want to forget this point. I do think AI, going back to what you're saying about being a good tool, it can help, I think, creating an environment of education,
I agree.
especially to underprivileged neighborhoods,
I agree.
right? Because they don't have access to a lot of these tools. And here's an easy tool that's cheap that you could teach, like
But you have to
coding.
teach people how to use it too.
100%.
And that's
yeah.
what we're missing here.
What's
Who
his-
teaches the people? A person.
So
Yeah.
what's his name? There was this guy. He went and did this amazing program. I met him at he's such a nice guy.
Harvard.
What? No. I met him at Super Cheese Gallery.
Oh, okay.
He went to like an underprivileged neighborhood and did this whole AI thing, and the kids printed it out, and he was like teaching them coding.
He taught them though.
Yeah, like he did it. Like
So teachers always have to be there.
you're always gonna need teachers. I think that
And fundamentals.
yes, I think as an educator, like you can't not have an educator there as a human.
But I think right now with this AI
Yeah.
frenzy going on, people are like, "Oh yeah, AI, this is it." And we all have the fundamentals to use this tool. But we have to teach. We had to learn these fundamentals.
No, 100%.
We had to learn the foundation
Right.
to be able to get on the computer and then
So it's if you're looking at it as a tool, then I guess the question would be like, right here, like if you gave Rembrandt an iPad with a pen and gave him Procreate, like he would, maybe at the time the people would be like, yo, you can't, like, I was interesting, just learning at LACMA. What's her name? Who took us around? What's her name?
Cactoid, Lady Cactoid.
Lady Cactoid was telling us that, like, there used to be certain types of paint, and then they invented new types of paint, and the new types of paint, some of the artists were like, you can't use that paint. Like, what are you doing? Right? Like, because they were using the old paint.
That's crazy.
So, like, there was a lot of really interesting things. I wonder, you were just at Frank Stella's place, which must have been an amazing moment for you, because I know he's your hero and stuff like that.
Did you cry?
But
I did not cry.
Okay.
Did you feel like you want to cry?
I felt very, very happy.
Like you were emotional?
Yeah.
What was that like, actually? Let's just ask that, because I know that was an amazing moment.
It was great. So it's been something that we've been trying to like coordinate for months with our schedule. Like, so he only does studio visits on Wednesdays, and if he does them at all. And so, trying to lock that in was a whole thing. But yeah, he's my favorite artist and very big inspiration for me. So I flew to New York just to like visit him in the studio in Upstate. And it was very, very special for me, because so when we walked in the studio, it's a huge warehouse, by the way. And it was very cool, because like the studio manager was like, yeah, Frank's taking a nap right now, so just walk around, and then when he wakes up, he'll come join you. And I'm like, that's the dream.
That's a flex.
Like, that's so cool.
Yeah,
you're just like,
love that.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, so he wakes up, he sleeps from this time to this time, and it's a schedule. He's just like, he got tired, he went to sleep. He knows you're here, but you're here for him. He's not here for you.
Right.
So when he wakes up, he'll come to you.
Right.
And that was very cool. And I was just like, respect.
Right.
And for me, I never tried to show him my art. I never tried to like.
That's awesome.
I just talked. I was like, told him how much I appreciate his stuff and da da da. And because for me, it was like this was not about my stuff. This was about me being a fan of him, not trying to make him a fan of me. And it was just very cool and powerful and very inspiring. And I was like, my first feeling was like, I kind of want to leave soon, because I want to go, like, I need to get home and create.
Right.
Like, I was just like
I love those feelings.
yeah. And it was just like very powerful. And so that was a very like moving thing, and it's something I'll never ever forget.
It was such a great picture when you sent it to me. I was just like, that's awesome. Like meeting your heroes. And I think it's cool, because I think the way I approach this sort of what we're doing is that I feel very strongly that a lot of the people that the hero of this couch, a lot of artists that I collect that that I love, one day are going to be those types of people also. And they're going, and we're seeing greats now. I know Deez and I talk about this all the time. You have to like sort of zoom out and like understand like what's being built here. But I truly feel like that's like sort of that we're in that moment a lot.
Well, I don't know if I'll ever be on that status, like how he is, but I just like, I see what you're saying for sure. Because I think that like, if you look at it, we're just here as friends doing a podcast,
Correct.
But like, it might be a bigger deal to someone else. You know what I mean? Like, not that it's not a big
correct.
deal. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, no.
But we're a friend.
We're vibing.
We're vibing. And
Like
it's
we've hung out like 2 or 3
Yeah.
times.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
this week.
But other people think it's a big deal. But I would also say like Frank Stella at the beginning of his career was probably vibing with his friends on the couch.
he was just hanging out.
And he's like, yo, I'm going to be an artist. And they're like, yo, I love your art, and I'm going to buy it because I want to support you.
Yeah.
And at the time, it's like, oh, he's kind of blowing up a little bit. He's selling, not thinking about it. And then all of a sudden, he becomes a thing. And I think that that's how it always starts with these sort of like, artists and Renaissance and builders.
I think if in that way, I think it's better for artists to just focus on what's right in front of them rather than them zoom out.
Yes.
Because if they zoom out, that's when I think like
It
we
gets
were talking about an
dangerous.
artist earlier. We don't need to say, but like I was like, he's having a moment right now, and I was like, is he cool?
Yeah.
Like, was he nice? And everyone's like, he was great. And I was like, I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Because like you see so many times someone blow up, and then you're
Make
like,
the $1 million,
and
and
then
then
they got the
crazy,
money
yeah.
got to them, or like they were always that person, but then like now that they have money or success, they're able to be that person,
which is sad.
it is sad. And so like it happens with actors, musicians, baseball player, whatever, like,
especially in LA.
but I mean, I live in LA, so I see it, and I've seen it many times. And someone said to me once, like, treat people great on the way up, because like you want them to treat you with respect on your way down, because you're only at the top for so long if you're at the top.
Wait, is the Is the physicals now today? Is this the last day?
Today is the last day
What
to
day?
claim.
What
I
time?
claim mine.
We shut it off tonight.
Okay.
Did we claim ours, Robert?
I got to do that. Will's on his way so we could claim ours. Wait, what?
Close it now. Translate. Close it. It's gonna be like Indiana
what's the
Jones.
address here?
Oh, I should have made a little meme of Indiana Jones sliding instead of grabbing his hat. He's grabbing a state of the art tile.
That's actually
Yeah.
a great meme.
Okay, I might.
After we're done here,
I'm gonna go do that. Yeah.
What's the address here again? We're just take this out.
Say it on pod.
Yeah, 7
4
5
7
4
5
Wow.
7 4.
7475 Mulholland.
Okay, we got to do that today.
And if you're in town, come hang out. It's Elvis's house.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, when you hear this in 2069, I want you to see the remnants of Elvis's house.
No, you know what? By then they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is Deeze's old house."
This is where they filmed half of season 3.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my God, this happened.
That's the same couch where Benny had.
Yeah, this is the same couch that Ed was on without any underwear, right?
I got underwear on.
Oh, you do? Mm-hmm. Who's your hero?
That's a hard question. I have a lot of heroes. Do I have to not?
Yeah,
Top 3.
Yeah, give us
Deez is right here.
D's. Yeah,
Top 3.
It's Deez.
I can say D's. D's one.
I mean, you know, I think honestly, my parents are my hero, and
Yeah, you're very close with them.
and my siblings. I think there's you know, of course I have legends I look towards, whether it's Michael Jackson or you know, Marvin Gaye, or just these people who like, even like Jay-Z, just like people who are like.
Do you think Marvin Gaye, like as a musician, is someone like you like vibe with the closest?
I don't know. I think I would vibe with all of them.
You didn't answer my question.
No, I mean, like, I
I'm
don't
kidding.
feel like I would vibe the closest with.
No, but I'm saying like your music, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like I feel like I get that feeling of like, you know, you're like a mix of like Marvin Gaye and sort of.
Really?
I get
I
that.
think I'm all over the
You're
place.
like a punk rock Marvin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm all over
I
the
like
place.
that.
If anything, there's some influences from Marvin Gaye, but also from like, you know, there's a whole bunch of people like Fela. Like I don't, you know, I think growing up, and that's why I love my parents so much. The music they would play was not just to one artist. It was like a whole bunch. The catalog was just so big. I'm here listening to Beatles, and then listening to Marvin, then Fela, like, you know, all these artists that I was exposed to. So I think that really helped me as well.
Can I ask you some questions about growing up? Do you mind?
Sure.
Okay, because I think it's an important topic.
Make them appropriate, or I have to slap.
No. No, being serious.
You don't
Like,
want to slapped on camera.
Please slap
I
him.
think it's actually an important question topic. I think our space. I think the world is very privileged,
Oh yeah.
and I think our space is definitely better a little bit. But we're still there's still a lot of privilege that happens with even in the micro sort of cosm of the Web3 space.
I'm privileged.
So, and I know that you and I have talked a lot about this. You've worked very hard in your life, but you've worked hard in your life in a lot of ways growing up. I know that was tough, that you talked a lot about how like
Yeah.
it was like an extra sort of layer that people don't realize.
Yeah. I think like growing up, there's this thing, like even when I went to college, right? And me getting to college, they're like, oh, you're here, right? And people didn't even understand like going to college being one of the very few. Like I studied philosophy, and I was like the only black person, or maybe there was only two of us, but he's still black, but he was biracial, right? So it's past, like he was even accepted in all the circles that I kind of wasn't. But I was like the only like black person in my whole, you know, class. And it was so difficult dealing with that because I had to be the one, I had to sit in front of the class. I had to make sure I was there because there's already stereotypes that, you know, already put on you. And so when you're trying to be somebody in this world, you're like legit, not only are you trying to like fight to get to the like, or to make it to those goals, but you're also fighting these stereotypes that are placed on you. And so here I am, this dude from the projects, trying to go to, you know, a prestigious school, at the same time trying to graduate, at the same time trying to be something that will give me generational wealth, where I can go back and not only help myself, but also my family. But it's also difficult. And why it was so hard for me was because I'm this musician, right? So here I have, you know, I know like the track to like make a lot of money and to get that generational wealth, or that has more promise, is to be that lawyer. but I'm like, man, I love music, right? And so, hey, I'm going to this school, and I'm doing all the things, studying.
You went to a great school.
Yeah, I went to Brandeis, and that was also an experience too, right? Because, it was a lot, because I think me being this black dude and just seeing the world is like, hey, we are the ones who are the most oppressed and things like that. I also wasn't able to understand or notice other types of oppression with other people. And so going to Brandeis, even though, there was still racism there, I still was able to have conversations with, Brandeis was predominantly Jewish, if people don't know. But I was able to have conversations with other Jews about, certain things about the Holocaust, but like oppression and like anxiety and current anxiety and things where, certain things that you shouldn't say because that triggers them. And I wasn't aware of those things. But they also weren't aware of certain things that, was like, problematic for people like me.
Like it was like, we talked a lot about this, like not having
We're going so deep.
Sorry, I think it's an important subject. Why not? But like we talked about, like people just not having sometimes the knowledge of understanding that.
Yeah.
And then talking about things like my daughter.
Yeah, you're going too deep.
So totally innocent, who doesn't understand. But then you need to teach them to make sure, because I think society, unfortunately.
I think there's a thing where you can only go so much. Like, ignorance is bliss for how long, right?
Right.
And
Agreed.
You have to be able to take accountability. And also, like, this was the thing for me where it came to a lot of my Jewish white friends who were like, well, I didn't know. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, that's the consequence. You didn't know, but still you aren't the one that's affected. The person that you were either being racist to or, you decided to treat terrible is the one who is affected by that. So you need to just deal with accountability and just be a better person.
You said that a lot to me. Like, it's not about maybe you might have done things in the past and not known.
Yeah.
This is not about me telling you that you did bad. It's about what can you now knowing what can you do better in the future.
Because I hate, and there was a point where I was telling all my white friends, I'm like, listen, I'm your black friend, we're homies, but if you're racist, you don't use me as your tokenized friend. Nah, I'm also gonna throw you under the bus too, because I think sometimes too, I definitely wanted to make sure that my friends knew, like, yeah, we're homies, but you also need to know when you're taking accountability. Just because I'm not in the room all the time does not mean you're not fucking up. And if someone's saying that you're fucking up, who is not me but looks just like me, has my skin color or whatever, and saying, hey, you're fucking up, you need to take that. Right. And if anything, me being your friend, should like really alert you, like, oh wow, like, yeah, I gotta fix this, because you would want to make sure that you're treating people good as you also treat me. If you're treating me good, you also want to make sure that you're treating these people who also are like me good as well. So yeah, I think that going to like doing these things, and I don't know how we even got to this conversation or this topic, but hey, it just happened.
Just like the porn house.
It's a good thing. It definitely has been a difficult journey, but I also know, like, these circumstances and these experiences have been necessary. It's conversations are necessary. Being able to like grow with people and help people.
And do you find like Web3? I know Ryan. Am I allowed to say Ryan? Sorry. Yes. Okay. I know Ryan. You've championed a lot. And you know how I feel about this also, about like women in the space and giving them a chance. And I do you guys both feel that Web3 could be a moment for us where we could actually, make it more like if an equalizer and give the opportunities to people that they didn't have before because of the technology and the communities that we could build?
Oh, man, I mean, yes, but it's, there's a lot of barriers. There's a lot of things that, as I see, and, women who are in this space are legit fighting, and it is very annoying. It's also in a way very depressing to see, but it's also beautiful to see women leaders out here saying, fuck that, we're gonna do this anyway, like, and like still do with whether it's like Elise, or Betty out here just saying we're gonna do it anyway.
And it's funny because sometimes people could be like Betty's tweets or like they don't love her tweets, but with that said, if you kind of look at what she's doing and the things that she's fighting for, she's representing a lot of people, and she's making a statement that's really important.
I think a lot of times too.
She has to push back, because if she doesn't, then she's not going to be heard.
Yeah, it's kind of like similar to what Ed said in college, right? Like, he felt like he's there and he has that position. Like he was the first you know,
Right.
to go to college.
Right.
Like it was
It's a good
a
point.
big thing. So he has
Wasn't
to
the
be the
first, but you know.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it was a big deal that you went to college.
Yeah.
And you were like one of the only black people there, and
Yeah.
so you wanted to make sure that like you were a good representation. You held the door open and like made sure that like others knew that it was possible.
Yeah.
That here's how you do it.
Which is
whatever.
a lot of pressure.
And I think that's what you know people like Betty and a lot of other people are
100%,
doing.
Julie. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of really strong
shout out to
women who
Julie.
are, you know,
And in
Understood.
history, when a woman is strong and being strong, she's looked at as a bitch.
yeah.
And I think that that's like, again, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, a lot of people will be guilty of that. And it, like what you said, Ed, is like kind of hearing that and seeing like when people were saying something about how Betty was tweeting, it's like, you know, maybe about the royalties thing or whatever, they were kind of looking at her being like, she's being difficult or this or that. And then you look at me and I'm doing the exact, like
same
Betty
thing.
and I are in a
Yeah, you
text
said that
thread
to me, yeah.
and we're tweeting the exact same message. And people are looking at her and saying she's a bitch. And like what I'm doing is like, oh, it's great. You're standing up for artists.
Well, I called you a bitch also.
Well,
Yeah,
it's-
well, I am actually a bitch, and so
but that's how it is.
but
Like
it's true.
when I'm talking about issues, people are like, "Oh, here comes this dude talking about the race again," or like, and it's like, man, and
But
you
if
can
you
always
don't, if you don't talk about it, then
right,
it's not gonna
and
be talked
and I think sometimes people also want to see like people like Betty or Elise or like Manushka, like when like these women who I legit go into use their platform and say these things, like even a Trish who are like going to say these things, like they're getting DMs from people or texts saying, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable," or this and that. So they like are legit going to say, "Hey, I'm going to take this risk and I'm going to do this anyway because I want to put this out there." Because if no one's going to say it, then it becomes this.
And it takes a lot of guts
know?
to do that. I mean, it's hard, you know. Like,
But then there's also
putting
this
yourself out there.
backlash, right? That you
Yeah,
also have to
that's the
deal
thing
with.
you have to deal with.
That people don't understand. That can be very like
Twitter can be unforgiving.
it's a weight put on your shoulders that none of these people asked.
you
for.
didn't ask for.
Like you didn't ask to have that weight on the shoulders.
No.
When you're going to college, and Betty didn't ask for that. Like I think that, and then like from my personal thing as like a privileged kid, like I got success, and so my personal thing is like how can I help other people like use that spotlight and shine it on others and like try to be like a reflection, you know, and
You're an incredible person.
and open the back door for other people who like that.
No,
I
you've
needed
done that
when
a
I was
lot.
younger, you know?
I remember I tweeted like that one time I tweeted about how you help a lot of artists and you know, when you asked me like, oh, you know, why did you do that? I said, because the truth is that I went and heard from so many artists behind the scenes about how many times you've helped them and giving them advice.
And he helps. Yes, he does. And he doesn't tell anyone.
And you don't tell anybody.
He doesn't tell anybody.
And I think it's a really important message. I'm not trying to stroke your ego here, but
Stroke
why
it.
it's important.
I'm a bitch. It's fine.
You are a bitch. No, but why it's really important is because I think that this space, and I hate saying space, but this space, whatever, this community,
Say Web3.
Web3,
No, I'm kidding.
it's really it's unforgiving. Like it's tough, and you know, with the market kind of going down, and people are like, "Yo, where are my sales? What do I do?" If they to listen to people who strategically were very smart in the way that they approach their art and they approach their brands, and getting that advice from them, I think is key. And I know, like, you know, we buy art together, Deez and I, and we're very careful on sometimes who we buy from. And Deez like has like certain artists, like he's like, I spoke and vibed with that artist first, and I think that makes a big difference, right? Because we're like, oh, we get to know the artist, we like the artist, we buy their stuff because we get to know like that they have that sort of vision. And I think, but reaching out to other artists is important to get that help. Xerox does that all the time. He's helping a lot of
I definitely appreciate that from y'all too, though, because it also helps keep that tone and that narrative in the space.
Yeah.
Versus the DGen or only buy this because it's
for
X
sure.
amount. Because you know you guys also have platforms, and you know when you do it, you know a Twitter space, you're like, hey, this is what you legit would say. I buy it off of the vibes if I like the art, and if the person is cool, if I'm cool with them.
Deez loves the vibes.
Like
Loves the vibes.
that's what he would
Vibes
say.
only.
He would say in his face. He's like, that's it.
But it's important for, I mean, me, when an artist co-signs another artist, like, hey, I'm a big fan of their work, and then they
Yeah.
describe it, it kind of is a higher signal than when a collector does it. I always think, like, I've tweeted this and got some flack for it, because, like, people are like, no, like, sharing is good. And I'm like, yeah, sharing is good, but, like, when an artist shares, I listen more than when a collector shares.
100%.
Because when
there
a
might be ulterior motives.
collector shares, I'm like, oh, they're trying to, like, pump their bags. They want us to buy what they just bought. And when an artist is sharing it, they're like, you know, I really like how they're blending these colors here and the way the texture and like
Yep.
the form and the composition, and they go into it like, that's such a higher signal for me. So I'm always telling artists like, yeah, like share, like a retweet's good, but like actually like write why you like
love
it,
it.
because that is like a 10x plus stronger signal than just like retweet.
So two things also, like one, I do want to point out that it is also good for artists when collectors share their stuff, right? So like,
Oh yeah,
for
it
you
is good.
because like you know, I was just on a Twitter Spaces on the way here that was supporting a charity that like my wife Eden and Julie Pacino and Perrin are doing, and like, you know, the question was like, you know, it's 0.03, like, you know, yes, that is still you know, a price that is some people are priced out of that, but a share is free, a comment is free, a like is free,
100%.
and all of those things actually help. And like, kind of, you know, if I'm supporting Ed, but I can't afford the 1 of 1, right? Personally, I own an Ed 1 of 1, so it's fine. Early days,
Flex.
flex. But like,
Wait, is it before my 101?
yeah.
Oh,
Well, this actually.
Oh.
So here, so
Oh,
this
Genesis.
face.
So this goes back.
Genesis. Oh,
This goes back.
Genesis music video.
Oh, okay.
So this goes back because basically, like what you said is like when an artist shares something, it means something more to you, right? So for me, I saw that so the first time I ever curated something, I was like, well, Sotheby's wanted to do like a solo thing with me and have like multiple pieces and all that stuff. And I had just done the Hans Zimmer thing. And so I was like, well, I don't want it to be like, that's too much pressure on me right now. Like, I don't have the idea yet. I want to have the idea first and then approach Sotheby's and be like, this is what I want to do. Not like have a deadline and then try to, you know, force that. So I was like, okay, well, instead, what if I curate a section of the auction? And I had never curated before, but I was like, this is the kind of moment where I can take, you know, this opportunity that I was given and change it to be like, well, instead of it's me, it's us now, you know? And so, you know, in those things, I got to share why I picked each person and why I invited them. And
That
stuff
was
like that.
in
Sotheby's London 2021.
Yeah, that was
And
a
so-
great picture with weren't you all together at that one?
Which one? Well,
That was JN.
no, that was this was Fiwo, Corey
Fiwo,
Van Loo,
yeah. Okay.
Human, Victor Mascara.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah,
really
yeah,
good
yeah.
lineup. Like
Victor's mascara is
yeah.
one of my favorites.
and
I
also
love
too, like I just think that yeah, like I get to tell people why I liked it.
Yeah.
You know, and also like what you're saying, like you want to meet an artist and like make sure that they're in it, make sure that they care. Like,
Yeah.
did they make one piece of art and
Yeah.
then they're selling it, or one 10K drop and then they're like, cool, I made my money.
Yeah.
Suckers, I'm out. You know, like
Right.
I like to support artists, not like art.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, like a
No, I
singular
think
piece
it makes
of
a
art.
lot of sense. I think when an art renaissance starts, you need
Yeah.
to support the art before you know, and the artist before you're worrying about monetizing it. And I think that's really important. And also, like, it's interesting because like Sam Spratt introduced me to like Joey L. So I bought Joey L's photography. We bought a piece, like phenomenal stuff. And then, you know, I met Joey's wife, Yatretta, and I was like, holy shit, her stuff's amazing, right?
She's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Dude.
I don't often get stopped in my tracks
I know.
for art.
Yeah.
And I saw that drop and I sent it to everyone I knew.
He immediately hit me up. I think he was like, "You traded? She's incredible."
Dude,
I just like, I saw it and I was like,
yeah.
you know, like I have this like screen, like this NFT screen in my dining room that I have up. And normally it's Ed Balloon. But like when I look at pieces, there's certain pieces where I look at it and I'm like, I picture it like this is something I want to look at every day.
Yeah.
And this will move me and this will like give me a feeling. That stopped me and I was just like, this is art.
Did you ever watch her videos, like how she makes it?
Yeah.
And that's
All incredible.
also art.
Incredible.
Like
It's
just
incredible. Like she just was making some stuff in Ethiopia, and Joey and her were texting me while they were there, and I'm just like, yo, this is like they have like this giant metal puppet. I was like, how did you even do this? And we're gonna have her on a podcast, but her story is also, that's the other thing. Like her story was incredible. Like when I met her and finally,
She's very sweet and
so sweet. But like, you know, coming from where she was.
yeah. I think this is
Yeah.
this beauty of like imagination, and she is really good at tapping into it. And I just love how she's also really good at tapping into it and really bringing in her culture while doing that. It's something
Yes.
that is.
It was a whole production. She brought
Yeah.
all these people
Yeah.
and she had a boat. Like it was just like,
But she used locals and
Yeah,
like,
she's,
people who want to be
that's what I'm
artists.
saying. Like
Yeah.
she's really like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
from the body, from the hair, everything is really is in it. And when I saw that, I was like, wow. And I finally was able to meet her in New York, and
amazing, yeah.
I just gave her the biggest hug.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you, like because I know she's like very shy sometimes, and she's not on Twitter Spaces like that talking.
Yeah.
But just her putting out work, legit, it's so powerful. It stops people. You don't even have to hear her talk. Her art really speaks for itself, and I just love that.
No, and I think that we have a lot of artists like that in our
Yeah.
space. Off topic, if I have some cheeseburgers here.
No.
Let me ask you a
Why do you
question.
have cheeseburgers?
Sit back. Relax.
You know it was coming.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I'm tired of it.
That's why I got them. I'm going to bring one out in a second.
Why
okay?
do you got
Relax.
cheeseburgers? Have you guys ever had two vegans on the podcast before at the same
No,
time?
No,
this
no,
is
this
why
is
this
historical.
This is why they order cheese.
This is going to be your least viewed pod.
That's why we got cheeseburgers.
Okay, if I said to you, I would pay you $50,000 to eat the cheeseburger I'm going to bring in front of you right now, would you eat it?
No. Well, actually,
I would, and then I would
Wait.
do something good with that money.
Nah. Okay.
wait, no, my body's gonna get hurt.
Who cares? It's $50,000. Let's do it.
No, I'm not, wait, that deal was not
No.
for you.
You guys heard it here.
That was a real deal.
Listen.
Wait, is it
listen.
really
I'm not
cheese?
doing this for me. I'm
There's
doing this.
It's a cheeseburger.
Are you gonna give us $50K?
No, I will give you. How about this? I will give to whichever charity you both want $2,500.
Charity of Ed Balloon.
$2,500. Come on, dude.
25 that's
I
a
can't
lot
do
of
it.
money.
I can't do it for $2,500.
Charity of
I'll
Ed
give
Balloon?
$2,500 to not do it.
The charity of Ed
You have
Balloon.
20. I'll give $2,500 right
To
now.
the charity of Ed Balloon.
Charity of Ed Balloon of your choice. If you eat a cheeseburger, right. How about
Why they got?
Listen,
Give me-
this
give me
is
10K.
see this
10,000?
question
yeah,
to start.
yeah. Oh, that's a big.
You wouldn't do it. Yeah, especially
you would do
on
it for
camera.
$2,500.
I have health issues, so before anyone tries to destroy
Oh,
me when
here
they see
you go
this,
with your health
I do.
issues. What's wrong? What is you have? How many issues do you have? You have so many issues. You have health issues. You have.
I got.
Apparently, you got friendship issues. Benny's just
no.
in here bullying you the whole
Yeah.
time.
No, never. No, but would you eat the cheeseburger for $2,500?
No,
If
because I have health issues.
If I spend $10,000, if I give you
$10,000,
There's a
I'll eat.
sliding-
I'll
so
chew.
Ed,
I'll bite. I take a bite
a bite for
and
$10,000,
chew it and swallow it.
And you have a sliding number that's moving right now. Where do you stop it to eat the full burger?
Right? It's like
Like-
okay, I'll
Oh.
lick it.
right? I'll lick it. I'll smell it. I'll lick it.
Smell it, I'll lick it. I'll
take
take
a
one
bite.
bite. I'll put it in my mouth and spit it out.
Set.
I'll eat the whole burger.
I'll eat the whole burger.
What's the whole burger?
Yeah,
20K. I mean the whole burger.
20K. Do we have that in the budget for the podcast?
But listen,
I'm eating it, licking fingers and everything.
just so you guys know,
Make an NFT out of it.
no, and we get 100% of the sales though.
Yeah.
But this
Airdrop.
okay.
You better go ahead.
This says more about you than it does us.
All right, tell me.
Okay.
Okay.
So Ed and I are both vegan.
Yes.
People in the space might not know that unless you're in our circles, right? We don't sit there. We don't post videos of animals being tortured. We don't like preach that stuff, right?
No.
So
I agree.
So to get
That's
real,
true.
to get
Obviously.
real, it becomes like a joke a lot, right?
Correct.
Like, oh, you guys are vegan. Oh, like,
Yeah.
how boring.
But why are you
But-
vegans? I think it's a good
So,
question.
well,
yeah.
hold on. Let's say this first. So, vegans, a lot of vegans will be like, outspoken, this and that, whatever, and that's their choice, whatever. I'm not like a preachy person.
No,
like, right.
not
So
at all.
I'm like this is my personal choice. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't eat meat. All these things. But that's for me. I don't judge anyone for doing what they do.
Okay.
But what happens is I get judged for not doing something.
I get hated on.
Yeah, and then
I kind of see that.
I come back. Well, it's mostly from you, but
Yeah.
it's you and Keith Grossman
Yeah.
who bully me the most for being vegan. But then I say
That's funny
me and Ed-
because Keith and I are both Jewish and we get bullied about being Jewish.
see.
And it's not our fault.
They gotta find something.
I know, right? So I gotta find something else.
Yeah, we got to. Keith
It's
and I got
totem pole, hurt people, Benny.
Right, hurt people.
But so okay, so just hear me out. So
Yeah.
I never, preach or anything like that. I go to a restaurant. I try to be like a not fuss. I'm like, oh, is there anything vegan? I don't want like people to be like, oh, is there something on the
Okay,
menu
I'm
for you?
like-
So that's the difference.
difficult.
To be fair,
Whoa.
That's the difference between you
Whoa,
and Ed.
whoa. It's not.
Ed sits down in the restaurant. He wants to make an announcement. Everybody, stop eating.
No, you make the announcement. for him.
No.
So I get
Well,
the.
listen, I will not.
yeah.
Like, I'll let you pick on him for anything all day long, but I will
You
not
don't
tolerate.
Wait, you don't do that when we go to a restaurant?
I will not
First of all,
tolerate
it's
vegan
always
slander.
chaotic, and I'm at
You
the
do
table.
that at a restaurant.
So do I ask the waitress if there's any?
No, you don't ask. You want to make a statement. You're like, oh, here we go again. I have no food to eat.
No, you're like,
Every time.
Well, yeah. To be fair, you're booking Korean barbecue steakhouse or something.
Okay,
this is Benny. Oh, Ed, are you gonna complain again, Ed? Oh, there's no food for you, Ed. And then he takes a picture.
Ed, you won't get the grilled cheese from In-N-Out protein
He
stuff.
took a picture, and I have to ask the waitress, "Hey, is there anything vegan?" And they're like, "We have something for you," and I'm like, I usually ask them like, "Hey, is it possible just to get like a pasta or something basic?" And they're like, "Oh no, we have something way better," and then they'll give me something that's like kind of not that.
It's not good.
Not
I'm
way
like-
better.
Every time you go out, I understand because the food that I tasted and it's like rabbit food.
It's fine to be healthy, and I'm all about it. I just especially with NFT LA right now, I'm just going to all these like events,
Right.
and like I would eat before I would leave.
That's
like,
by the way, vegans all do this. When there's like a big dinner, a vegan will eat before,
we would
You
eat
like
before.
eat before you go out.
assuming that there's nothing, not an
assuming
option.
that eat.
Yeah.
Wow.
But unfortunately, I've been going to like all these events, and so going home would I won't be able to go to the events, and so when it's like a dinner, I'm like, okay, cool. Hopefully they know
Hopefully
I'm
be
vegan
something there.
because they asked me in the email,
Right.
and so I say, hey, I'm vegan, and I hope there's
Ed once came over to my house for Passover, and I forgot to tell them that
I ain't
he
gonna do
was
it again.
vegan. No, you'll come because I'll have vegan food.
Okay.
And he ate.
But then you'll make a big deal out of it.
He did. He made.
But
a big
real
deal.
talk, like this. So this is the thing, right? Like imagine if every single day I was talking about you being Jewish, and then every day I was like, "Oh God, here we go. He's Jewish," and every day I did that, right?
I think we do that with Benny.
Okay, fair. No, but you know what I'm saying. And obviously, like it's two different things. 'Cause
Ed
one,
texts me sometimes. He's like, "Yo, you're Jewish. Remember that?" Like out of the blue.
I do.
Out of the blue.
Like, yo,
we are.
I trying to remind you, by the
yeah.
way.
take a
Yeah.
seat.
Yeah, like
I don't know how I was added here by a third party. That was not.
A federal entity is investigating.
I love the Jews.
No, but listen. So like, what I was saying is like, obviously, like you were. Like veganism is a choice, right?
No,
but the
I get
choice is not for me personally. It's not for me, right?
Right.
Like I originally started being vegetarian to be healthy.
so. I'm actually really curious. Why did you start becoming
So
vegan?
I wanted to be healthier, right?
Okay.
And I'm the kind of guy that will go to like, I would go to McDonald's, get the 99-cent chicken sandwich, call it a day. Like I'm on the run all the time. So it's just like I need convenience. If I was vegetarian, I'm still going to eat junk food. But like on average, I'm eating a junk food that's vegetarian or vegan, or vegetarian. It will be healthier than if I were to go get like the McDonald's chicken sandwich, right?
Okay.
And so then that was me for a while. And then I became vegan for the animals. And so like I was like, I don't want to wear leather. I don't want to.
You don't wear leather now?
I don't wear any animal product. I don't use animal product in my like shampoos or anything like that.
Right. When
Yeah.
you have to, and that's hard because you have to try because
Right.
even like things that say it like sometimes like might not or.
Well,
like,
and then there's things like like there's
It's
pieces of
impossible,
leather in
you
my
know.
car. There's
Right.
like
There's nothing you
things
can
like
do,
that, right?
right.
We're sitting on a leather couch
Yeah.
right now. I'm
Right.
not like
you can't do.
I'm
anything
not
about
walking in the house because there's a leather couch. I'm just like for me, it goes back to that personal choice thing for me.
Right.
So, but I will
Do
say
you
this.
love
best you
you
can.
love animals?
I love animals.
Do you have animals?
I do have 2 dogs.
Oh.
Yes, they have lovely lives.
If you could get like any type of exotic animal, or like what would it be?
I don't have the proper space for it, so.
But let's say you did. Let's say
You could instantly domesticate it and like vibe with it.
Yes.
Which one is it?
What would it be?
Well, I first of all, it'd have to be like a rescue situation where like
Yes.
I'm the better option.
better
where
make sure
I'm
it doesn't-
taking it out.
Make sure it doesn't eat you.
Question better.
Rescuing a hippo.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you. a
Oh, that
question
would
better,
eat
right?
you though.
You
No,
Oh,
but
but
you
it's
domesticate it.
Right, you
It's
domesticate
not
it.
like you and him are
A
one.
hippo is cool.
We snuggling?
You can ride it.
Okay.
You can ride him.
A
You can
hippo is
snuggle
so
it.
cool.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
It can be any animal in the world. You are like you are like an explorer, and you have this like way of
yeah.
saving animals.
I would
And you
wanna
go to
know.
a remote place somewhere in the world. You find it.
Yeah.
You bring it home to take care of it.
This sounds like colonizing.
Damn, thank you.
You're gonna go somewhere else and steal an animal and then
No,
force
no,
it
no.
to be your pet.
You
I'm
say-
riding a
it's
sperm wow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Saved
there,
it. You saved it.
there should be no hippo in California.
So-
what happens if you get domesticated? What's the difference?
I mean, still, I wouldn't want.
I don't know. I like bird. I'm like a bird. Like my spirit animal, I think, is a bird.
Ooh.
I always loved birds.
What kind of bird?
Like an eagle or
Maybe not like an eagle. I feel like that's too like.
Too American.
Yeah, a hawk. Falcon. Maybe a hawk would be cool, but also kind of like
To LA.
Or like how about like an ostrich?
ostriches are tight.
flightless
Right?
bird?
Penguin. I hear penguins are tight.
Penguin.
Penguins mate for life.
Yes,
I like that.
that's a good
They
idea.
feel true love.
Mm.
You know, they have fun. They have
Yeah.
like personalities where they like to go down the slide.
Have you seen a penguin open its mouth though? I saw that. I kind of like
It changes things. Yeah.
scared the hell out of me.
But like, you know,
But
like
it makes sense.
yeah, they're at like a community. They stick with their families.
They cuddle.
They have fun. Like they actually like enjoy like, you know.
Wait,
anything.
and I was gonna say they're vegans, but they're not because they eat fish.
Yeah, that's
Close,
like
though.
Bulls are vegan.
Are bulls vegans?
Bulls are vegan. Considered one of the
Interesting.
toughest animals. Vegan.
You're changing my mind a little.
Well,
Do you
where
think
do you
I'll
think
feel
protein comes
better?
from?
hippos are vegan too. No,
I don't know, but protein comes from.
You physically feel better because you're a vegan.
Well, not always, because I eat like very poorly as a vegan. Like I eat like a lot of like vegan pastries and junk food.
Oh, okay, so you see, like,
But
okay. Your mind.
my mind is better because I know I'm not hurting
Do you actually think you became a better artist because you're a vegan?
Mm,
Same, like, you know how
I will tell you this.
when he free balls,
like-
same type of idea. Like, do you think like
I forgot that.
I will say this. Okay, so I don't do drugs. I've been straight edge for like very long time, over 20 years, right?
okay,
However, when I was young, I did drugs. I did a lot of mushrooms. I did a lot of acid, and I smoked a lot of weed, drank a lot, and however, it wasn't for me, and I'm not like, I don't support like, you know, myself doing that. I do think that it somehow opened my mind a little bit more to be creative
interesting.
at a young age, maybe. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not like.
Would you ever
endorsing
think
it.
about trying it again
Never again. Never.
because you want to leave it in the past?
For me, the reason I stopped doing it is when I was like, I'm like an addictive personality.
Okay,
I had family situations where people were in and out of rehab and
Got
all that
it.
stuff. So like, it was like a kind of thing where I had a moment one day where I was like doing a drug, and I looked around and I was like, I don't like these people that I'm with,
Yeah, you told me this story.
you know?
Yeah.
And I like, but, and that was the moment I was like, I need to change my lifestyle, and I need to like, I had like this other friend who didn't do anything and wasn't into that stuff. And I really liked him, but I never hung out with him because I was hanging out with these guys doing
because you're always
drugs.
doing drugs,
And so I was just like, I had this moment where I was like, I got to hang out with him more.
right?
And like, I got to like get away from this.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I'm going to end up like them, going in and out of rehab like my family.
got it.
And so, but the ironic part is that if I wasn't on drugs in that moment, I wouldn't have hit that like thought.
Your thought,
And so like,
right?
I think I was meant to do all that stuff. And so I don't regret it, but I like, you know, I don't like endorse it, but like, I think that it did get me to a certain place. And then immediately I was like, all right, I'm going to stop hanging out with people I don't like. It's like right now, like if, like I like you guys, but we're also like, we also have like Web3 as like the common thing that brought us
Correct.
together. There's probably a lot of people in Web3 that we don't want to sit here and hang out with, you know, and spend
I
time
love
with.
everybody. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because you have that in common with someone doesn't
Right.
mean you need to hang with someone, right?
Right.
Like, like, look, Chris Paul is vegan. I don't want to hang out with Chris Paul.
Right.
I'm anti Chris Paul.
Are you
Okay?
anti Chris Paul because you're a big Lakers fan, right?
Yeah, but I just think that he's corny. I just think that he's like,
Wow, I'm off.
You
of
don't like
Boston.
like his stupid commercials.
I don't mind the commercials because I'm about to, like get that check, but like,
Okay.
I'm just like, he's like a baby.
Yeah,
He's just a baby.
I mean, the
Court.
guy has
He's a legend. He's so good. He doesn't. Yeah, he's like,
he's a great
He's
player.
like a dancing baby. You
But
know?
he's never won anything. Let's be honest, right? So
I mean, he's won at life.
well,
There's a difference between like not everybody needs to be LeBron or Kobe.
I think Chris Paul's cool.
oh,
It's turned into a fuck Chris
Let's
Paul
go.
podcast.
What's wrong with Chris Paul?
He's just a baby, man.
yeah, he's
Ever since he left the Hornets,
yeah. I think he's kind of like a big man baby.
Really?
he got
Yeah,
Spencer chiming in with a Chris Paul take.
Does everyone think he's a baby?
I mean, kind of. Right? No,
are
but
you're a big Lakers fan, right?
Yeah.
And you're a fake
From-
basketball.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
You're-
fake,
You're
but
a Celtics fan.
You're a Celtics fan, right?
I'm everything Boston.
Did you guys watch the Jerry Buss? Dude, that show,
Yeah.
the HBO show,
It's great.
blew my mind.
It's great.
So good.
I should have watched that.
Like he
Yeah.
created, like he
Entertainment.
created entertainment with like nothing. Like he had nothing backing it, but he just like faked it all the way until he.
Well,
made
he
it.
had something back in it because he did own all the properties.
Correct,
but he
but,
didn't
like-
have liquid, and so he was
correct.
kind of like it was chicken or
He
the
was
egg.
just
for
moving.
him.
He was just moving shit around to like get somewhere, right?
And they did it like how The Big Short does it, when he like gets this
Yeah.
deal. He's like, all right, I'll buy the Lakers. Then he walks down. He's like, no, I got to figure out how to buy
Buy
the
the
Lakers.
Lakers.
I gotta.
Yeah.
I gotta
Oh, we're
get some
talking about
money.
the
HBO show. Did you watch it,
yeah,
Dean?
Yeah,
It's called
It was Showtime. Yeah, I think it was
I
really-
gotta see it.
it's really good.
It was really good,
It's
and it
really
was really
good.
interesting. My favorite part of that the show was when Magic Johnson is at like a conference, and the guy who owns Nike, what's his name, Phil Knight, comes up to him and says, "Hey, I want you to be in." He offers him like 15% of Nike, which would be worth like $5 billion right now.
And who did he go with? It was
He went Michael Jordan. Oh, he went
no.
with.
Yeah, it was another brand. Was it Fila? No.
No, I think it was
something
maybe
else.
Adidas. No,
I don't know if it was Adidas.
I can't.
It was Converse. Yeah, Converse was pretty big.
Which later
Converse.
Nike bought anyway. So
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
He bought Converse.
Nike
Nike owns Converse.
Yes.
That's
They've owned it
full
for-
circle.
Wow.
But
Full circle.
Yeah, so like I'm from Orange County originally. My grandpa used to have his company had season tickets for the Lakers at the Forum, and so I grew up going to see like Magic Johnson and then Shaq.
That's
and then
amazing.
so I got to see kind of like all the different phases.
Great.
Do you know why they're called the Lakers?
Yeah, Minnesota or the
I just
the Great
found that
Lakes.
out
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you know that these?
Why?
They work because they work. You could explain.
Well, before they were here, it was like because the Great Lakes, so the Lakers.
The Lakers came from a different team
Oh.
in Minnesota, in Michigan,
Makes
right?
perfect sense.
And so they were called the Lakers. It has nothing to do with.
And now they have the
LA.
fucking Pistons.
I think it's
Yeah,
Minnesota.
Pistons.
Went
Sure.
down.
Yeah.
But wow, I didn't.
I mean,
know
you
that.
guys don't have real lakes in LA.
Well,
Yeah.
this week we do.
I mean,
And
yeah.
now you do.
Yeah.
You have that river.
Flooding. Yeah.
What do you call the LA River? Where
That's
that?
what
Oh, it's called the LA River.
The LA River. It's like where all the sewer goes, the sewage and stuff.
No, I mean,
Would you kayak in it?
yeah, I would kayak in it.
You would wait. There's really a river in LA.
Yeah.
I thought I was joking. I thought that was the thing in like Terminator 2 and they're driving
It is.
down.
Yeah.
That's a lake,
That is full of water right now.
and you would swim in that.
So like when the
No.
Terminator,
Kayak.
I would kayak in it. Yeah.
And there's some parts I don't think are clean.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
clean,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I would still kayak in it. Yeah.
Kayak flip.
That's where
I'm
like
not saying I'm a fully hygienic
could-
person. I'm just
that was.
thinking,
I learned about that thing from Terminator 2 and also in the movie.
how good is that scene when he's on the
Oh my
when
God.
he's got the shotgun
So
and
good.
the way he cocks it with like how he flips it around, it's so iconic.
That movie
Yeah.
stands the test of time.
It does. And by the way,
I forgot it.
you know
though.
how people
But
say
I
like
mean,
how people say like
We should put it on.
the sequels aren't good. That is what actually put Terminator on the map. Was Terminator 2?
Yeah, Terminator
People
1
went
was-
back and
agreed.
watched Terminator 1 because
They're
of
like,
Terminator 2.
wait, there was
Wow.
a Terminator 1?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was so good, and like it just some movies stand the test of time. That is definitely one of them.
So this goes back to like the drought,
Mm-hmm.
because when it's dry and it's empty like that, and that you can ride a motorcycle in it.
Is that legal to do in there?
No, but listen, when you're fighting a creature or like a robot from another time,
Yeah,
you don't
right.
think about the law, right?
No.
And who are you trusting with the law when the person
Well, they
chasing
also
you is
they
the
also
cop?
used it.
You
They
know?
also used it during Greece
Yep.
when they did the race. I remember,
Oh,
and
that's what it
also
was.
in the epic Academy Award movie Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. He used it to put the lava in.
But like
So it didn't.
the reason
destroy
it's
the
dry
city.
is because there's no water.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been in like a zillion movies, but like there's no water.
There's
Like,
no water, so now it's full.
Well, right now it's full and it'll last for however long it lasts, and it gets filtered and all that stuff. But like that's why we use turf.
Right.
It should call it Turfinator.
Would
too.
Turfinator, right? Would you ever think about moving out of LA?
yes.
No, I didn't ask you because I know the answer to that one. Because you're transient.
I-
You want to move to New York, right?
transplant. I actually, it's so weird. There's a convenience here, even though I'm not a big fan of LA. There's a convenience here, and so I think I would want to live bi-coastal here in New York.
Now you surf.
I do so.
Do you surf?
I do.
And have you guys ever surfed together?
No.
We have not. We're in a surf chat
We're in
together.
a surf chat now.
Really?
It's a Web3 surf chat.
Do you
Let's
think
have
that
it
if
happen.
I came
No,
and you try
Yes.
to teach me how to surf,
absolutely not.
How
That-
long would it take Benny to
How
get
long
on
would it
the
take me
board?
to-
A very long time.
Would it take Benny? Who would get on the board first?
Benny said he doesn't
Me or
swim.
Benny?
You don't. You told me you don't know how to swim, so we have to teach you how to swim first.
are you saying Jews can't swim? Is that what you're saying? Is that-
I can swim.
That's not true because I know Jews. I know some Jews that can.
Well, hold on. You don't want to watch this happen?
Now I don't want to watch Benny drown.
I won't drown.
Imagine.
I can swim. No, I could swim.
But
Oh, you
like
can?
Buoyant. Look at him.
Yeah.
how iconic though is the lifeguard saving him like viral video?
So
Uh,
I want you to know when I was
It's
a
Ed with
Yeah.
one of those big red things.
yeah, running down the beach slow motion.
I'm not
with
the best
only-
swimmer either.
Only in
I
his
can swim,
underwear.
though,
The
but
black underwear.
The black underwear.
Yeah.
We'll recreate the Rocky what was it, Rocky 3 scene when Apollo and Rocky are running on
I
the
don't
beach
remember.
together and they
Did it
hug
come out
each
when I
other.
was born?
Look, there's just one thing that you got to remember. We got to get some speed. We got to get some flexibility. You got to get some quickness. Understand? Quickness and endurance. That's the only thing we got to concern ourselves with, Rock. All right?
Ricky never had me do this.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Ready? Set. Go! Come on! Stay! Come on! Come on!
What? I forgot you're younger than me.
Yeah.
Anyways, my point was that do you think that you could teach me how to I went skiing one time.
I went skiing once.
And then it didn't work out. Then I
Yeah,
tried
I don't think I'm a
snowboarding.
skier either.
I tried snowboarding and it was even worse.
You know who's a
think I'm-
great teacher?
Who?
Bobby Hundreds.
Really?
Yeah,
I love Bobby.
he's a great guy. Great surf teacher too.
I had this moment with Bobby. We should get him on the podcast, talk about it. We went to Mexico and we got up at 4:30 in the morning.
I
And
heard about this.
it was this epic sort of boat ride. And then we went into this hot tent thing. And it was the first time I really got to meet Bobby, to talk to him. I had read his book twice. I own a ton of bombs. And it's funny to go back to where we were from the start. He, to me, more than anybody, actually understands this space in a nutshell. He knew it from the start. He understood community. He understood pricing. I remember I used to get frustrated with him because I'm like, oh, why didn't you make certain bombs more this? And then you start really seeing his whole picture, and you realize he's he's holding, he gets it.
He was one of the first, I remember seeing his Instagram before I came into the Web3. Also, he had he was doing his onboarding with the bombs and stuff with his Instagram post. He was like, hey, if you want to get onboarded, I think he was either doing a Twitch stream or the Discord. He was like, you have to get into the Discord. And I was like, what is he talking about? But now it makes sense now because
he really he's just really, I find his approach extremely smart, and he's still going with it. He's like, yeah, I'm not done. It's a slow and steady pace to build what he's doing as a brand. And I really just got to know him in this trip, and it was nice. It was actually Dave was there, and Sergito, and Joe from Infinite Objects, and this hot tent dude.
Why was it so hot? Is this another word for a
Benny
sauna?
was in it with his
They
shirt
put
off.
you in a tent. It's maybe this big, this room here. They make it pitch black dark, and they take volcanic rocks that they've been warming up for 12 hours. They put them in the middle and they pour water on it, and you can't see in front of your face. And then you do it. You're in there for 12 minutes, and they let you breathe, and then 12 minutes, and they do it 6 times. I think it was. Bobby and I only lasted 3 times, and then we were we're out of here.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't do it because the
Rug.
Yeah, I was a rug. No, I
small.
I'll tell you what happened. They asked me. You get emotional. You get emotional because
Did you take mushrooms for this, or did you
So
go
I-
raw?
so-
Dude, here we go.
Okay, so I took mushrooms.
That's why the emotions started coming.
I can't say who I love. Sorry. So I took mushrooms the night before. we all know him here, so I don't know if you'll let me say it loud. And I was still a little bit high. But then
Beanie.
What?
It was Beanie. Yeah,
It was Beanie.
Beanie, yeah.
Yeah, I took shrooms with Beanie. I am Beanie. Yeah. I just lost a lot of weight.
Beanie
I
Big.
stopped smoking. Beanie Benny. Beanie Benny. And they ask you these questions, and then they ask me which woman, the woman in your life and what they meant to you.
Oh, so they're asking questions in,
in the
this
tent.
tent.
And I was away from my family a little bit for a while. So I started talking about my wife, and then I started crying.
I think you texted me
Yeah, I did.
that you were going to go home. Something
I
like
was
that.
I need to go home, and I left a couple days. I just it was
Wow.
you're in the zone, and it's very intense. And I'm very introspective, as you know, probably too much. So this was a real moment to be that introspective. You probably would like it a lot.
What was this called? Is that what they do, or
They
was
have
this
a
a?
specific name for it.
It
'cause
did.
Dave tells the
Dave-
story pretty well.
Yeah, Dave knows all the right words. to
Yeah,
say.
Dave always has
He's like
the
a
right
poet.
words. Yeah.
So I almost went on this trip, or I got invited by Sergito to go on this, and I was in Mexico at the time that you guys were, but I was in a different part. For
I
me,
didn't know this.
Yeah, so
Oh my god, I wish you were there.
well, I had a family vacation.
Oh,
there,
okay, right now I remember.
and it was when I was finishing up State of the Art. So
Yes.
I was helping build the website from my room, and then it was a horrible trip. So I was texting with Bobby, and he's and Sergito, that's just crazy experience, and I'm sitting here I'm supposed to be relaxing on a beach, and I'm sitting here on my computer on a balcony watching my son play in the pool downstairs, and it was a very sad moment for me. And so I was
So you know what
I
that
would
means?
like an experience.
We have to do it.
Well, I would like an experience like that because it does sound cool. I told Sergito like next time I'm down.
Yeah.
Because I do want to go to those things and yeah. Go
Was
back
it-
to Bobby. Bobby's a great person and he's been someone that I've leaned on a lot in the space. I've known of him for a long time. He's like in LA, going back to LA. It's like he's kind of like this person who helped build what Fairfax and streetwear culture has turned into.
Yeah.
And he was always the outcast in streetwear. He was like most founders didn't look like him. And him and Ben had to kind of start as just this thing that they were like, well, we're just going to do it anyways. And then Fairfax kind of, found its spot and they created this whole thing. And so he's been building these communities for like a long time.
Like he understood that. And
He
like
understood
I
that.
actually read his book twice because this book is.
Which one? This is not a t-shirt?
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah, but he has the new book coming out. Called
Right. So
NFTs
NFTs are
scam.
yeah,
NFTs, I'm really excited about
And then
it.
NFTs are the future or something,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So I think it's going to be really good. Like he's I think he's doing the audio of it now or something. So that's really exciting. Actually, talking about audio, did you read Rick Ross's new book?
Rick Rubin.
Rick Rubin. I keep doing
I listen. So I'm on the.
Ross.
Yeah.
Listen
Yeah.
to Rick Ross.
You saw how you looked at me?
Rick Ross just dropped a banger.
I
Yeah,
said,
that's tight. I've been
I
listening
do
to
it
it
every time. Also.
Did you read it? I'm
Yes,
listening to the
I
audio
just
right now.
ordered the audiobook
Yeah.
last night.
So I ordered 4 of the books.
Okay.
Because it's written by Neil Strauss, and so I love Neil. He's like he's part of my surf club. So me,
yeah,
Bobby,
what wrote that book?
yeah, Neil co-wrote it with I
didn't know that.
If you open the first page, it says Neil Strauss. But so for me, like, I love Neil, and so like we've surfed together. Like him and Bobby are who got me back to surfing. So I come from Huntington Beach, which is like technically known as Surf City.
That's Surf City.
And
yeah.
I surfed as a kid, and then stopped surfing probably because I got into drugs, and then started touring in bands and stuff after I was like sober and straight edge, and then moved to LA, far from the beach. When I moved towards the valley, I was closer to the beach, and so I started going to the beach with Bobby and Neil. They got me back into surfing, and yeah. So I bought like 4 of the books to give away,
Yeah.
1 to keep, and then I also bought the audio version.
I just like watched his 60-minute thing and I was like, yo, this guy's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked him.
Yeah,
I have to read the book.
Yeah.
it's really good. You want to know my favorite quote from the book?
Yes.
So all my paintings are about like movement and motion and stuff like that. So there's several layers to them, and things are like
Have
going.
you finished the book?
No,
Okay.
no. But I listen to it. I can only listen to it while I drive or while I paint, because otherwise, if I'm like just randomly listen to it, I'll get distracted and start texting or something like that. So I have to do it when I'm like, not able to do that. I have like severe ADHD. But so my paintings are all about like movement and motion. So like you can see like textures going underneath and coming back up and things like that. And so there's this thing where they're talking about how everything is always moving, right? The world is in motion, right? So like if you did the same meditation on the same like square outside on the cement pillar every day for 5 days, each experience would be different, because maybe there's like a temperature change, a gust of wind.
It's very generative.
It's something. It's generative, right? So feelings are generative.
Yeah.
So I liked this, and the quote that I loved was, "No 2 gusts of wind are the same, can like ever be the same. You'll never feel the same gust of wind twice."
Wow.
And I just thought that was like so powerful.
I love that.
And like so, like me, I can see you 100 times,
Yeah.
and none of those experiences are exactly the same.
Right. They're always going to be different.
Yeah, and so that's kind of a
It's
special
fascinating.
feeling.
You
Yeah.
think about like people you're with like your whole life, like your spouses, your children. It's a very true statement, right?
Like I've been with my wife for like a long time.
Yeah, same with
And
mine.
each time,
Yeah.
if you think of it in that way, none of those experiences are exactly the same.
I said to my wife once, and it like was probably the best line I ever used. So I'm just gonna share it here.
Okay, can we steal it?
Yeah,
Okay.
dude, definitely steal it
All right.
because I had sex that night when I used it.
Cool.
So I said to her, we were out at dinner and someone said, "How do you know when you're in love with somebody?" And I said, I'm sure I make this up. I said, "Well, it's for me, it's every year and I like every day I find something new to love about my wife, and but it is true because like you think you know somebody and then things are different. Like it's very generative. Feelings are different. The day is different. Your kids
Feelings are generative.
feelings are generative.
I think that's a
I think we're gonna bring that up to
Non-fungible feelings.
not fungible feelings. NFF. That's what we're gonna start doing. The NFF and the NIF tokens.
Yeah.
We could cut this. So I'm gonna ask you.
Well,
First.
I also want to say one thing. So for when someone asks me that, the advice that I got was, or like I asked someone else at my old mentor at my job, who's like become like a good friend over the years. And I said, like, what's the secret? How do you know, blah, 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 that they're actually the one? And he said, there's no choice but to be with them. Like, you can't picture yourself without them.
Yeah, right. 100%.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Can we ask about your music career without getting into specifics, or rather not?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ed is a musician.
Yep.
But you were a musician before Ed.
Okay.
So I don't know.
That's true.
So,
allegedly.
And I don't know if people know this and it's just like a really fascinating thing when I found out. So can you tell us a little bit about this sort of nugget of ThankYouX that people don't know? Because I think it's just it's like a diamond in the rough.
Sure. So I come from like this like underground kind of like punk hardcore scene in Orange County. I'm straight edge, which is like a big part of that scene. And I toured with a ton of bands at the time. Like when I was younger, I was like selling merch, like a roadie basically for like my friends' bands, and I would tour the country, and it was just amazing. And then I joined a band at one point, and I played keyboards for the band. And yeah, that's it. What else do you want to know?
Wow.
What kind of music was it? It was like totally punk rock?
No, the band I joined, if I'm being completely honest, wasn't the kind of band that, like, I joined it. They were all my friends, and they asked me to join, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll join. But it wasn't necessarily like I liked my band, but I like the genre that we were in wasn't like the genre that I like always listened to. But then I learned a lot about it, like from being in that and touring, that I liked a lot of bands that we toured with and stuff.
Can we paint a picture? Did you wear black makeup and all that? Like,
I definitely wore eyeliner.
Okay.
But this was like, I wore eyeliner before I was in a band.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I was like a hardcore, like I was like.
Did you have earrings?
I used to have earrings. Yeah. I had my septum pierced. I've had my nose pierced.
You've had your septum?
Mm-hmm.
This is this.
The middle part right here.
Right here in the nose?
Yeah.
Right here. I also had this too. Yeah.
So you had earrings in all these places?
Not all at the same time.
Okay.
So when I was 16, I got my earring ripped out. And so I had to get stitched.
Were you in a fight?
No, I fought a car door and I lost.
Hold on. How does your ear get caught in a car door?
So
it was hanging.
I had horseshoe earrings.
Okay.
And they were like a bigger gauge.
Oh,
so they weren't just like the go to the mall, get a gun. It's like you get like a bigger gauge earring, right?
Okay.
And so it was like a horseshoe, which is like that, and then the two balls in the end. And then I was getting in a car, and I had to squeeze in because it was like tight next to it, and the edge of it got caught.
Oh my
popped
God!
Off. It didn't actually it didn't fully hurt, to be honest with you.
So
I just I hear this like ding ding, and like this sterling or like fake sterling silver like thing falls on the ground, and like what the hell? And I go like this, and just my hand's covered in blood. I'm like, oh man. We go to the emergency room, and the guy who I was with is like hitting on a girl in the emergency room while I'm like bleeding. It's pretty funny.
Were you a good wingman for him?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, good job.
Dude, he brought me to the hospital.
He did bring me here. He also did park very close next to him, so this could have been avoided.
What happens if I said I'll get a really large hoop earring if you eat a cheeseburger?
Oh no.
No, that has nothing to do with me.
Like in my nose.
I don't care.
How about this? I'll make a better deal. What happens if I get Ed Balloon tattoo of your face on my chest?
That's still more about you.
Eating a cheeseburger.
Oh, the tattoos eating the cheeseburger?
Yeah, tattoo of you eating a cheeseburger.
Sure.
Of Ed in an In-N-Out
Something
outfit.
that you
He
would
works
want to
there,
have.
makes
Yeah, right. He's an In-N-Out outfit. He has that.
I hate In-N-Out. I'm sorry, I don't hate In-N-Out.
No, it's okay. Don't say that publicly. Let's cut that from. We don't want to get sued here.
I don't hate them.
Oh, I don't like them, but only because of what they print on the bottom of the.
What do they print on the bottom?
Oh, they're a Jesus company.
I love
Is that
Jesus.
true?
Yeah.
I thought that was the other one.
I love Jesus.
The chicken one.
Yeah, both of them.
That chicken place is great.
Oh, In-N-Out is about Jesus too?
Yeah, they do John 3:16 on the bottom of all the stuff.
Chick-fil-A is the closest.
I mean, I love Jesus now. They just don't have anything
The
for
way
me to
that
eat.
they're able to just get everybody through the line in like 5 minutes.
It's crazy.
They lied to me last time, so I don't know how.
Fucking cars in there every time you go.
They lied to me last
because
time.
they have Jesus power.
And they don't fuck it up. Like you're like,
Yeah.
I
They're
want
pretty good. They are, yeah.
I want
Amen.
100
And to be fair-
barbecue
Yeah.
and Polynesian and a Chick-fil-A sauce, and they don't fuck it up.
They lied to me one time, so they fucked up my
really?
yeah.
Oh,
So
shit.
there was a
Talk
sin
about it,
there.
Where was this?
There was a sin. It was at In-N-Out, and I ordered for.
Oh, In-N-Out, not Chick-fil-A. Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, they don't mess. I haven't eaten
Chick-fil-A don't
Chick-fil-A.
mess, but
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out, they fucked. Okay.
The good thing I'll say about In-N-Out is that they really actually take care of their employees.
Okay,
That's like a
see,
known
it's good
thing.
to know.
So they're one of the highest paying.
Like Starbucks is,
I think Starbucks is pretty
Yeah,
good to their employees
yeah.
too, but
they have health insurance. I
but
think.
In-N-Out is one of the highest paying fast food jobs.
Okay,
That's
never
amazing.
mind. Let me be quiet.
Yeah.
Until
I'll
we-
say it.
So I don't actually hate.
until we
Shout
have
out
until we,
In-N-Out.
And I don't mind that.
Appreciate you.
Like I'm not a religious person. I'm like
I love Jesus.
I'm kind of anti-religious.
Ed is very religious.
Again, a personal choice.
I love God.
Personal choice.
Right. You can love God.
I know.
I love God too.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say there. Has Jesus inspired you?
Yeah.
Yeah, in your music?
Is this Jesus in the room right now?
Is Jesus?
Jesus is always.
Hey, good
the
answer.
porn house?
Jesus.
Well, Elvis is
Yes.
Jesus.
Elvis
so,
was Jesus, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting canceled on something.
Definitely.
Elvis is not my
Yeah. Like the Elvis fans, the Jesus fans. Someone
What if we get canceled by Elvis fans? That's the
By the way-
unlikely cancel that we get.
By the way, that might be the most likely people we get canceled from in the Web3 space. The Elvis people are going to find this podcast and be like,
I don't know. There was
No.
the what's the ENS guy that was like anti-trans?
Oh,
that
yeah.
was like, well, it's because I'm religious.
no. So the
What is
funny, the
Yeah.
just because now we can talk about it, but the funniest
Are
part.
we done?
No.
Are we still on
We're still on.
podcast?
We're still on. The funniest,
done?
the funniest part about that ENS thing,
We can talk about it.
yeah, we can talk about it. The funniest part about the ENS thing was that he was anti-trans and everything.
I ain't
Whatever,
funny, but
right?
okay, I get what you're saying.
Okay. And then the person who sort of brought it up, who worked at Rainbow, right, who was trans, and they found videos of that person from years ago being
Christian.
anti-gay and anti-Christian, anti-trans.
Yeah.
And then he got canceled.
Damn.
And the whole thing was such a surreal, weird moment in the space. Because like I remember people were on the spaces. People who were like, hey, I just want to speak up for a minute. And like, if you said anything, you're like, what the fuck? You can't believe you said that. Like, I was like, Ed, stay out of this, man.
Yeah, you told me to stay out,
I said,
and
stay out because you can't, argue with somebody like who has different views from you is very hard, right?
Yeah, it's like a Facebook argument with
Yeah,
your with
like
your
what are you gonna do,
uncle.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I truly don't believe in like.
Canceling people.
No, I was gonna say that.
Okay.
Relax.
You're gonna get canceled.
Yeah, I'm gonna get canceled if I say that. I was gonna say is that I always feel like people have a right to their own opinion, and they could share their opinion. I think it's when you share it in a negative way that hurts people. I have an issue with that. But it was such a crazy moment. Like the spaces were almost as bad as when ThankYouX had his spaces on royalties.
Be JM.
Like
Is he coming?
Yeah. Oh, that's tight.
Oh man.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that so when I did the spaces with Opensea, that's what you're talking about.
Oh, we can talk about this now.
Well, it was. I mean, even in that space, like I was like yelling or not. I was like angry or emotional, right? And I'm an artist, like I'm an emotional person, but I would follow it with, just so you know, we respect you. And if you hear us raising our voices and all that stuff, it's because we're emotional artists.
Yeah,
and
and I-
it's
and I-
not
say
because
too.
we
I'm
don't
like,
like
we're passionate
you.
about this.
Yeah,
shit.
and like you're a human. We're not like thinking less of you, right? We're just like, that's just our side.
That's
and they,
our
and
side.
they handle it a different way. And to be honest, that in a way that did bring me closer to Opensea. Like we were, more involved with like certain conversations, and then they kind of went a different direction. But like, I think it.
And by the way, there's people that work at Opensea that I know that I know that are good people who don't always agree with things that you know what I'm saying. And
I think that's
they're in a
fine.
situation and they get blamed for things and they're getting DMs and you're like, yo,
Yeah, I don't do that.
Do
I
with
Send
me.
them texts
I
and
don't-
solidarity.
like
Shout
I
out
don't do that.
Alex.
yeah.
We
But
say
so,
Opensea.
I didn't want to say his name, but like Alex was like, he's like a great guy. Like
I would say that Alexander is an amazing person.
Yeah.
And I always text him in these situations, and I go, just so you know,
Yeah.
I love you.
yeah, and that's
Full
really
stop.
important.
And it's and also it's just like, and also like there's certain views at the top that you're, it's like, well, as a CEO, that you have to think about it as like, this is a business. It's not just like
100%.
Ed Balloon's Discord or something where he's changing things.
Yeah.
It's like but you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
like this is a real company with real fun.
Yeah.
They have like hundreds of jobs or whatever. Like they have, it's not just like you have to kind of take that person, their like human element a little bit out and look
100%.
over what the whole
And
entire
and
company
to
is.
be fair, like I said this to you and I said to everybody, like everybody's like going, and I understood everybody was upset about the royalties, but I was saying for a while, I was like, I'm not shocked. This was happening.
Yeah.
There was no matter what happened, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And OpenSea probably made this decision 6 months prior to they even did it.
However,
But like, it's very hard because the way the market was.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, OpenSea got success for making products and being ahead and innovating.
Correct.
They didn't get success by following trends and playing the defense.
Yes.
And so I think that, like, for me, my personal take is that OpenSea will probably in the long term fail because the way that they're doing it now is they're basing everything off of like losing some market share to Blur, which is just like a lot of wash trading. We're all watching it in real time.
Yep.
And so like they're losing trader volume.
Yep.
Right. But they still have the support of the artists. All of us have the OpenSea link in our bio. We all have this now. We're in our Discord. It's like, here's the link to OpenSea. We push people there.
Literally.
If everyone stops posting those links, they're not going to go to No one goes to OpenSea and just is like, let me just browse.
No one comes in Web3 and say, hey, I want to go to OpenSea.
Right.
Like, that's not.
But I think that's also a lot of things that we, I've talked to you guys about also. We've talked about in this podcast a lot that eventually it needs to be like driving a car, right? Like, you don't know what's going on with the hood. It's got to be simple, stupid.
Absolutely.
Go here, click here, buy this, and like PayPal.
Yeah.
And once that happens, and I think that people like Amazon and some of the people like,
Let's talk about Amazon.
Yeah.
Are you guys bullish on Amazon?
I'm very bullish on it.
You are.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I want to be. We just have to see. We have to see what happens. Like, because right now no one has solved the code or has figured it out.
Yeah, let's hear it.
But yeah, let's hear D's.
I don't know. I'm not super bullish.
Really?
He takes the mic and just goes, I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm definitely not super bullish on the big Web2 companies coming into Web3 or however we want to say that, traditional companies coming into the space. Like, I don't feel like unless they natively stick around for a little bit, survey the landscape, hire people from within the community to help them or advise them.
Even that doesn't. They still fail. Like, some of these Web2 companies come in and do that.
Just look at Instagram. Like, what they roll out something, it sucks.
So I think the difference, and I agree with you. And I was very upset about the Instagram thing.
It's like the political pressures. Now crypto's being a political thing, so like
that's what it is.
Now, if you're on Team Red versus Team Blue, you have to have a specific stance on it, and it's not this like neutral, more libertarian leaning, open thing that it should be.
And I agree with you, and I was I was upset about Instagram, and the team there is great, and it wasn't their decision. Obviously, it was.
No, it sounded like there was pressure from the top.
Correct, exactly.
It's always the top.
But that was the difference between Instagram and I think what Amazon's happening. Hold on, I'm just trying to think what I'm allowed to say.
Oh, shit.
So Benny has
Benny's
Benny big.
I want Amazon.
So
to do
I would
this.
tell you that I think
Benny
institutionally, Instagram was not coming from the top down, and I believe very strongly that Amazon is coming from top down on this decision. Which makes me bullish on it because I believe that if you would think about it, this is the wrong time to do this, and they're doing it now, which I believe is the best time to build. So they can make as many mistakes as they possibly can. And I think that if it can work out for a lot of artists, especially with branding, I think it has a huge...
Is selling on Amazon more prestigious than selling on Sotheby's now?
No, but there's a difference of things you could sell, right? For instance, and
an
Ryan,
album.
Right, an album. Ryan, you could talk to this like Coons, like sells his stupid piggy banks, right? Like those, but he sells one-to-one still, right? And you could sell your one-to-ones, but still sell your music and still sell your records. Like, I think there's something of that levels that Amazon can bring, or some Web2 companies can.
I also think that like the difference is that Amazon was built as like a marketplace.
100%.
And so they know the like fundamental stance of a marketplace and how that works. Whereas like Instagram was built on like a photo filter first, and then transitioned into a social media, and then got bought by Facebook.
I think it's so smart.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. And on top of it, actually, if you think about it, the way Bezos started this was he built a book company. But if you watch his really early interviews, it's fascinating to hear him speak, because they're like, well, how are you going to become the next big tech company by selling books? He's like, well, it's not about the books. I start with books, and then it's what I go to next. Mm-hmm. And he talked about that early on. And that's a lot of what we talk about in this NFT space, right? We bring them in, and especially when it comes to like the large understanding of what our ecosystem is being built on digital assets and blockchain and technology. Art is the first sort of carrot at the end of the stick before we get to everything else that we're going to do.
The book stuff is fascinating too. Like he talked about trying to, if you can solve the problem for books, you can solve it for everything else, because
Love
there's
that.
so many books, it's so many different authors, not artists.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, oh,
books too.
That was
yeah,
like college.
yeah. If we solve this problem for books, it's like, well, we can solve this problem for any other piece of merchandise, because books were like the most complex at the time.
100%. That's like Gary Vee when he did his book thing.
Oh
like,
my god!
He sold all those books.
How are we comparing Jeff Bezos
No,
starting
I'm gonna
Amazon
tell you why,
to
because-
Gary Vee
because-
grifting his
oh,
way on
no,
the
how many
the top?
yeah.
I love Gary.
this.
Let me preface this by saying I love Gary.
No, I'm gonna tell
Speaking
you
of
why.
VCon again.
Yeah.
This
VCon
is going to
is
come
awesome.
out after I speak of VCon,
Yeah.
so the slander won't, I guess, get to me. But like,
No, I mean,
the whole selling book thing is absolute bullshit. Like,
No,
to
let me tell you why.
incentivize people to buy more books, it's like a
Yes,
fucking
dude,
real life NFT.
think about it like
man.
this.
I'm
You're
like-
killing trees, Gary. You're fucking killing trees.
I want to point out that our situation of the Elvis porn house right now that we're recording in, we're sitting in the living room,
Yes.
live, not live, but like we're recording. And then in the kitchen, we have friends.
Yes.
We have
We're
Blue
now,
Orgy,
this is a
Guy
live Twitter
NorCal,
Spaces.
Will
And they're-
Travis,
We're
Sneaker
watching.
Dad.
I'm hearing them laugh at things we're saying, probably talk shit on what things we're saying,
100%.
and disagree. And it's a current Twitter
They are-
Spaces
they
where
are-
like,
they're
do we have
not-
a question
they're not
from the
pro
audience?
royalties, for sure.
We've seen hand raise.
Yeah.
Saying preach.
But I think he got so many people to read books in the NFT space.
He got more people to burn books than he did to
Okay,
read
I have a
books.
theory that 70% of the NFT people who buy NFTs are illiterate. So I feel,
Probably higher.
So I feel that he got people to maybe start reading, and I'm pretty excited about that.
You think they're illiterate?
Yeah, I think it's possible. We're gonna wait for Ryan, and then
We're doing a little bathroom break.
we'll do a little.
We're gonna have a
back-
little intermission.
Yeah, and
Like
then
the
maybe we'll
lights on.
finish up, and then because we've been doing this for a while.
I know. How long is
All right, guys, we've been doing this for over 2 hours. These do you want to close us
We
out?
gotta ask our question.
What?
If they're shipwrecked
Yes,
on an
okay.
island, if you're shipwrecked on an island and you can only have one album to bring with you on the island, what album are you bringing?
Damn it.
So for me, I get obsessed with one album at a time, and like when I create a body of work, I listen to the same album over and over, and I kind of stick in that phase, whether I'm driving in my car, whether I'm in a studio, and yeah. So right now, the phase that I'm in is the new Skrillex album, because it just goes on a journey of like, and it's like probably cliche to say or whatever, but it's like it goes from like very heavy to very like melodic and soft, and it takes you on a
Do you
journey.
listen to music when you paint?
Yeah.
Damn, this is hard. I don't like this question.
You got to do it. One album. You're on a deserted island.
One album?
Yeah. By the way, if you said
Just
This
say
is
Limp
hard though
Bizkit.
because I'm a musician,
I
and so
Just say Limp Bizkit.
yeah,
oh no.
I was gonna
Starfish.
The
I was
U2
gonna say-
album that was
Can
airdropped
the
to you.
album be like a mixtape with a whole bunch of songs?
no.
Dude, come on, man.
Just
What, are you
listen.
bringing a
I
mini
know
disc
you wa-
player?
I know you want to say Aqua. I know you want to say Aqua Barbie Girl.
Ed's Island mix.
Yeah. Oh, the Island Boys.
Island
yeah. The Island
How I hate.
Volume 6.
Yo, I don't
wrecked.
know.
Now this is what I call wrecked.
wrecked. This is my
I
wreck
hate
tape.
this. I always go to a blank. I don't know. I don't know.
Come on, you got to have something. You're a musician.
I know.
My
This is
answer
why
next
it's
week
very
would change.
difficult.
That's okay. This week
Okay.
this is a good answer. So give us
let's-
where you
let's-
are right now.
This week, I would play. Man, music is so hard.
Is R. Kelly?
Hell no.
Now we're definitely getting
But
canceled.
yeah, we're gonna get canceled. I just said, but no, it's canceled.
Aladdin soundtrack.
I love that soundtrack.
It's a good soundtrack.
Such a good
No,
soundtrack.
it's a good soundtrack though. But I don't know if it's gonna be something that I want to listen to on a deserted island.
Yeah.
Maybe, well,
This is what I'm talking about. When we go out to eat with him, he
this
can
is a
never
hard.
make a
This
decision.
is a hard question.
It's like fake chicken, fake meat. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like just pick something.
But I make music.
I know. While you're thinking about that, can I ask you a question?
You would be very great on a like a game show.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, give us an answer, and Ed sits there for 4 minutes.
I mean,
We're going to
no
commercial,
choice.
I
wouldn't
guess.
feel bad, but like, damn, this one I'm like, oh, I really care about this.
For every non-answer you give us, for every minute, Will and and NorCal are gonna bring a cheeseburger and eat it next to you. So
I have no problem with people eating food in front of me.
that's true. All right.
People got to eat.
What can I? While you're thinking about that, what's with you in overalls? What's going on with that?
Yo,
I respect that.
Yeah,
I got a pair.
I kind of want to start doing that. I said to
they're
Mira,
I was gonna say they're so
comfortable?
comfortable. They're comfortable, but they're so easy. I
Is
mean,
it easy to go pee?
probably not, but like it's not that hard. It's not that.
Just wear a
difficult.
diaper. It's fine.
It's
Wear a diaper, right?
not like you can just take the the top off and then but
You got to
like,
go one strap though.
Yeah,
I used to do that when I was a kid. I would wear I would buy overalls from like Mervyn's, and I'd do one strap, and I thought it was so
like
cool.
one-
Yeah,
Like,
only one was
I've
done.
been on this.
It's easier to get down to the underwear for the
Yeah.
performance.
I've been on this.
Well, I felt like I felt like a backup dancer or something. When I looked back at pictures, I was like, "Damn, what the hell was I wearing?"
Oh,
I've been on
man.
this overall.
Yeah.
Quick, like phase.
I've been noticing
It's
that.
dope.
All right, so instead of an album, Ed's
Yeah.
just gonna bring a pair of overalls. Like
Yeah.
he
That's
doesn't
it. You'll
need
be
any
a
Yeah.
music.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes you
Doesn't
feel
need any
comfortable.
music.
No, I
He
need
just
music.
needs-
Actually, I need music though.
No,
It's
I
just-
mean
it
you
won't
don't
be-
need music.
Oh
You-
my God, this guy, we can't. Even...
Okay, because it's weird because I want to
What's
say
coming to mind right now?
me.
You want
That
to bring out
sounds
an
so
album?
vain.
Yeah, let's do it. That's
No,
not
but
vain.
the reason why it's me, no, it's not that. It's because like I would probably make this album of all the songs I've made, and then like be going to like, oh wow, this is where I was because I can go through the journeys. But then I'm like listening to like the songs that inspired those songs, which is why it's so difficult. But yeah, that's kind of.
I have a second album.
Bring Ed
Oh, second album, yeah.
I have a second album. I would go like AFI, Sing the Sorrow.
Oh, how do you get a second album? This is why it was so difficult. If I had a whole bunch of options, I would have said all these options.
Dude,
Why
we didn't
he's
even
on-
give you one.
Yeah.
I could give you more if you want. Like
I mean, no, but the question. I mean, we asked what he answered like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, so that's why.
So in the
We had another
time, he thought of
podcast
another
on this
one.
one.
Okay.
Ed's gonna have to listen to this podcast on the island, and that's all he's got
on repeat. You're gonna
on
have to
repeat.
hear
Yeah,
me
a
talking
pair
about
of
vegans.
overalls and one tape. That's
One
this
tape.
recording.
Maybe the Motown.
that's so
soundtrack.
depressing.
That's it.
And the album art is just I hand paint the overalls.
Oh.
A big soundtrack of like the 90s.
I would like that.
Just a soundtrack of the 90s.
90s, yeah.
All 90s music.
Ace
Do you
and
love
bass.
90s music?
Yeah.
I love 90s music.
Like 98 degrees or like
No,
what's
no,
your
they
favorite?
can't
Like
make
Aqua.
It. No, they
Yeah. I'm a Barbie girl.
Yo, I'm a big.
No doubt
Barbie
was so dope in the
world.
90s.
Yeah, dude.
Sing with me.
Orange County.
Life is.
I don't know that song.
Thank you. It's fan.
I don't know that. It's fantastic. I know the song.
You can brush my
but there's
hair,
other songs.
undress me anywhere.
Imagination. Life is your creation.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party. There you see, got it.
We got to cut this because
Okay.
I can't be out here.
Guys,
Yeah. Executive decision. We're leaving it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
really thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
That was Dee's singing, not me or Ed. By the way. Yeah.
You know how much Deez and I love both of you. Really
Love y'all
respect
both.
your art and everything you guys are doing,
Appreciate
and
you.
it means a lot for you guys to come on here, even though we probably drove you a little crazy, but I appreciate
We're
it.
getting paid.
I
for
will
this.
say on the real
kidding.
Ed's getting paid. On the real tip, I do just appreciate what you guys do as a whole in like in the space. Obviously,
This guy,
like
not me.
like hosting spaces nonstop and just kind of always being there and like letting new people up on stage and giving people the
And
spotlight.
being like the
and,
first ones to do it, right? Like,
Yeah,
holding
like-
spaces as a collector in the
Yeah.
space, and also giving artists like just vibing with artists and like
Yeah.
making it a comfortable ass space. Shout out to you for that.
yeah,
because,
it's really cool.
yeah,
We
you
need to
definitely
do
did that.
And Benny just again like on the back end, like
Yeah.
what you were saying about me, like helping people. Like a lot of people say the same thing about you.
Yeah, we're gonna cut that from the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. So just it's great because like I just hear so many artists be like, I just DM'd him an OpenSea link and he bought it. It's crazy. Like so, it seems to work. So just send Benny all of your OpenSea
Yeah,
links.
send me.
Um,
not right now.
His
We're a bear market.
Twitter handle is @Mondoir, and so just send it to him. He'll buy whatever.
By the way, I go out sometimes with when I'm with who am I with when I do it with
Damn, this
Snuffy.
Like, oh yeah,
Oh,
and
Snuffy, we love
Snuffy
Snuffy.
and I go up to people and they ask us who we are. We go, I'm Mad Dog Jones.
I like that. That's
yeah,
good.
and
Mad
it
Dog
works
Jones,
actually.
yeah.
It's like and Snuffy
And they're like,
says,
oh, so you're buying?
yeah. And Snuffy says it also. He's like, hi, I'm Mad Dog Jones. Like, oh, your stuff's amazing, and Snuffy goes along with it. He's actually really we have to have him on once in a while.
Snuffy's
His
incredible.
humor is spot on. He came for Passover also. Oh,
Yeah,
he came the
that's
night
the
before.
homie. Snuffy and
Anyway,
I
sorry.
how to deal with that.
I'm gonna leave Deez with the final words because he is the master of of this whole podcast.
I'm the worst at intros and outros, but I just want to thank you guys both for coming and hanging out with us. This has been great. It's been kind of a whirlwind. I want to apologize on Benny's behalf for
Thank you.
for any and all food pushing and slander. That is just how Benny is. I think that is his
Can't
way of
change my
showing that
stripes.
he loves us is by trying to bait and switch a bet with you to eat a cheeseburger. $50,000 turns into $2,500 pretty quick when the
It went from bull market to bear market.
Very quickly.
all right, best I can do.
50,000 to 2,500.
He's like, I'll give you a free burger.
Yeah.
If you eat the burger.
Yeah.
This is my best offer. Listen, bear market, man, could be tough.
But apologies on his behalf.
We love Benny.
Thank you
They-
guys
they
for
know
coming
I
and hanging
love
out with
That was
us.
a hot mess.
And until next time.
Yes.
You are that.
And next time,
On
hopefully
the
we're not
island.
getting rained on in LA. And the next time,
It's about to rain
Yeah.
again.
the flood warning is in full effect.
Guys,
Flood warning.
Yeah, on the island. I like that.
That's why we're shipwrecked. Anyway,
Shipwrecked.
thank you for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
guys.
Thank you.